Well, if it's Saints Liverpool commentary you want at 8 o'clock, join me on Talksport 2 in just a couple of minutes' time. But tomorrow on The Breakfast Show, the actor Gwilyn Lee is in the studio. He's part of SAS Rogue Heroes Season 2. In his acting career, he's played Brian May from Queen. He's been Nelson, one of Barnaby's sidekicks in Midsummer Murders, and he'll be playing Gareth Southgate in Dear England as well. Some variety rolls out 6 a.m. tomorrow. Gabby Agbonlahor and Alan Brazil on Breakfast on Talksport. And Friday's Breakfast Show with Alan Brazil and Arsenal invincible Ray Parlour will be celebrating Mikel Arteta's 5 years in charge at the Emirates. After claiming the Community Shield as proper silverware, Arteta probably needs another proper trophy. How about the Carabao Cup? Arsenal take on Crystal Palace, and it's live on Talksport with League Cup winner Andy Townsend alongside your commentator Sam Athpace.
Yeah, when Mikel Arteta, Adrian, pointed that out, that far from being the bare trophy cabinet that everyone was reporting at the Emirates, actually we've got it stacked full with Community Shields. There were one or two that scoffed, I think, in the press conference room at London Colney. But yes, they would love to place a trophy that has evaded them since 1993 firmly on the mantelpiece. It's a long time without winning the League Cup, isn't it?
It's a long time, Sam, it is. But you know what? They're not that far away from it right now. A determined performance here tonight, and they could be theirs this year. 6
points adrift of the leaders with a squad that is full of quality, but maybe light on numbers. Therefore, a big refresh tonight. The Gunners' boss knows that this is the easiest route to silverware, but you can't take any progression for granted. Just ask Chelsea, ousted by Newcastle in the last round, or Villa, nudged off course by tonight's visitors to the Emirates, Crystal Palace, who have had a bit of an upturn. 1 defeat in 9, big results against Newcastle, Spurs and Manchester City, and with a grudge match victory over Brighton, the latest to propel their momentum forward. Arsenal make 8 changes to the team that drew 0-0 with Everton. They start with David Raya in goal, Partey, Timber, Kivior and Tierney the back 4. It's Jorginho holding in midfield with Nwaneri and Marino just ahead of him. Sterling and Trossard flanking. Gabriel Jesus in attack. The only goal that he's scored this season came in this competition at Preston. As far as the visitors are concerned, it's pretty much full strength apart from Daniel Munoz, who's suspended for Oliver Glasner. So Caleb Kapora comes in at right wing back. Henderson the goalkeeper, Chalobah, Lacroix and Gahey the back 4. It's Kapora, Lerma, Will Hughes and Tyreek Mitchell in midfield, with Saraneze supporting Mateta in attack. Red shirts, white sleeves, white shorts and red socks for Arsenal, attacking the goal away to our right in the first half. As the sounds of the angel swing around the Emirates Stadium. Crystal Palace in yellow from head to toe tonight. They shoot from right to left. Our referee is Andy Madley. He is on his own, no VAR this evening or in any other of the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. Over on Talksport 2, it's Southampton versus Liverpool. We'll keep you in touch with Brentford's trip to Newcastle. But here on Talksport, live coverage from the Emirates, where the sloping roof rising over on the far side, then falling away down to the corner on this 2-tiered bowl of red seats. They're full of Arsenal supporters mainly in this stadium, with a few speckled spaces tonight. It's not 100% full, and the rain tumbling from the sky under the floodlights here at the Emirates. Andy Townsend, this is the first of 2 meetings in 4 days of Arsenal Crystal Palace, but it's no practice match.
No, it's not, Sam. It's a big game, an important game, a significant one for both teams. It really is. You get yourself into a semi-final, you can almost taste the Wembley appearance and maybe a trophy in your back pocket. So it's a proper game. It's one to win. Again, team that starts well and can get themselves in front tonight. Always difficult in these games, high pressure games, to come back if you go behind early on. So a great start, big incentive for both teams.
Confirmation of the shape as we anticipated. The Arsenal team with Partey, Timber, Kivior and Tierney lining up as the back 4 tonight. The ball is deep inside the Crystal Palace half over on the far side, and Caleb Kapori goes out over on the far side and throws the ball in. I think he was actually throwing the ball in after Kieran Tierney, who is making his first appearance since August 2023 for Arsenal, just slammed the ball straight out of play.
Yeah, he did. It wasn't his best first touch, was it? But there you go. Look, yeah, it's been a while. He's been away on loan, and so the Arsenal fans will be all eyes on Kieran Tierney. They want him to start well.
He throws the ball in from the left side towards Gabriel Jesus. It's smuggled towards the far touchline. He hoists it back in again, Tierney. And then it drops in midfield for Jorginho to flick it on. It lands at the feet of Trossard. And then Marino gets it up to Jesus, who's trying to take on Lacroix, who actually I think has looked a lot sturdier in recent weeks, and guides the ball out and away for a goal kick away to our right-hand side. 0-0.
Yeah, he has, Sam. I totally agree. I think he's looked particularly good lately at both boxes as well, attacking it and defending it. Gahey just on the left side of him. Chalobah off on his right-hand side with those two wing-backs. Kapora almost up towards the halfway line. Tyreek Mitchell out here on the left.
First start for Kapora tonight. It is a London derby with a place in the Carabao Cup semi-finals up for grabs, and there's also no extra time at this stage of the Carabao Cup. So if the teams are level after 90 minutes, the games will go straight to a penalty shootout. There's 3 games tonight. Surely one of them is going to go to a penalty shootout. It might be here, where Andy, I think you think it's going to be quite tight tonight, and it has started in quite a cagey fashion.
Yeah, look, ordinarily, I mean, again, the teams will be very different for the league game at the weekend, but ordinarily, the chance.
That's a mistake by Kivior, and Mateta goes right the way through the centre. He's one-on-one with the goalkeeper and slips it past him into the corner, across David Raya. It's a huge mistake from Jakob Kivior. Henderson's ball through the middle of the pitch. It's one straight ball from back to front, misjudged by the pole and sent home by Jean-Philippe Mateta. And Crystal Palace lead at the Emirates by 1-0 after just 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, and didn't he finish it well? Didn't he show great composure? As you say, it's just a speculative boot up the middle, but Kivior isn't strong enough, A, to win it in the air, and B, to resist Mateta. Once he gets after it and he gets the wrong side of the Arsenal defender, there's no stopping him. Still got to put it in the net. You've still got to slot it past David Raya, who's made plenty of top saves this season. No problem for the big centre forward, and Palace have a brilliant start.
Well, Arsenal failed to make up ground on Liverpool in the Premier League at the weekend. Mikel Arteta was hoping this competition could give his side some momentum heading into the busy Christmas and New Year schedule. It's the worst possible start at the Emirates, and there's a huge Crystal Palace contingent tonight because it's a cup game. They've doubled their allocation, and you can really not only see but feel the presence of the Palace fans behind the goal away to our right. They've got pretty much the whole of the bottom tier behind the goal that Henderson is defending. Yeah,
the perfect start, dream start for them. The worst possible start from Mikel Arteta on the home side.
Sterling trying to get in behind on the near touchline, but the flag is up very quickly before he can latch on to it, and it goes all the way through to Henderson, who will take a free kick from the edge of the box. So 0-0. Arsenal, who would expect to dominate possession and try and find a way to prise open what has started to become a sturdy back line, now have a bigger job on their hands after that goal from Mateta after just 3.5 minutes. And they've had a bit of an issue when it comes to scoring from open play, and that could be a cause for concern. And now Palace obviously got something to defend. It might actually make it for a slightly different game, because now Arsenal have got to come out and really try to carve open this Palace defence.
Well, look, first and foremost, they've got to get hold of the ball, and they've got to start building a little bit of momentum so early in the game to concede. The one upside, if you are going to concede and you concede after 3 minutes, well, you've got plenty of time. You don't have to panic to get the ball on the floor and start knocking it about.
Tierney down the left, finding Trossard, who quickly whips it into the path of Jesus, who's trying to outpace Gay, but Gay's so good at reading those situations. He just moves across into a really intelligent position and just edges Jesus off the ball and allows it to run out for a goal kick away to our right hand side, and Palace still lead by 1-0.
I think what they've shown there twice already, one with Lacroix and then with Mark Gahey, that any balls that are slid into the gullies for runners, those two guys in particular, and Chalobah's no slouch either, but those two guys more than happy to go shoulder to shoulder with anybody and run that all the way through and see it out for a goal kick.
Remember, Arsenal make 8 changes tonight. Kivior's misjudged another one. He can't keep allowing it to bounce like that. And Sarr is in behind down the right-hand side. He tries to juggle with it. He loses control because Tierney comes across and shuts off his route to the penalty area. And it goes behind off the Senegalese and out for a goal kick away to our left-hand side. But Jakob Kivior has had a nervy start.
He has. Absolutely right. And that was another ball. Goal kick from Dean Henderson. Knocks it straight up into Arsenal territory, and the ball bounces, as you say, and Mateta and Eza, they're all chasing after it. Someone needs to go and take charge of that and put their head on it.
Well, Arsenal have looked a little bit rusty in the opening 7 minutes, and I think that's probably to do with the fact that this team haven't played together before.
No, bound to be a little bit of that. That's what I mentioned with Adrian at the start of the show, the fact that when you make 8 changes, you bring in a lot of guys that haven't seen a tremendous amount of game time, you keep your fingers crossed a bit that it's going to work. Well, it's not been a good start for Arsenal at all.
Ball cleared upfield and over the halfway line, looking for Sterling. He's then roughhousing Lacroix and gives away a free kick. Let's get a bit of build-up to the game at St James's Park. Mark Wilson is watching that quarter-final for us tonight. Mark?
Yeah, there's a little late change for Brentford. Nathan Collins is come in for the injured Seth Vandenberg. He's been injured in the warm-up. He misses out tonight, so Collins a late inclusion for Brentford.
Thank you very much. That's Mark Wilson, who will be keeping us in touch with whatever happens at St James Park tonight up in Newcastle. As Newcastle and Brentford vie for a place in the semi-finals. Newcastle have won just one of their last 5 games. Brentford have got a terrible record away from home. And something might have to give tonight at St James Park. Crystal Palace, who under Oliver Glasner have shown a tendency to be a little bit more pragmatic. Just defending here. Kapora going out to engage with Trossard. The ball goes back to halfway. Arsenal haven't really fashioned any sort of enterprising moment in the opening 8.5 minutes. They've barely got near the Palace final third. And Nwaneri now trying to change that by finding Marino. They then get Tierney and down the left-hand side into the box, tries to play it against Chalobah, whose arm appeared to be outstretched by the side of his body, and that engendered a response from Tierney that should be a penalty for handball. Yeah. But I think actually it was more tucked in than I initially thought.
Yeah, it does actually. I mean, Andy Madley immediately gestured to Kieran Tierney that arm was straight and it was tucked in, as you say. Did hit the hand, no doubt about that, but absolutely the right call.
It's going to be a corner, and look at what Crystal Palace are doing here. They're making Arsenal think. Now Arsenal, the set-piece masters, lining up with 3 at the back post, 1 slightly further forward, and now Jesus coming to disrupt. But at the other end, 3 players left up by Crystal Palace on the halfway line.
And Monaco did this in the Champions League, did exactly the same thing.
Here is the corner, far side, taken by Trossard, in towards that near post. It's snowed all the way through, and it has to be cleared off the line by Jefferson Lerma, who reacted best to it. It swished all the way through the 6-yard box, then bounced up high on the line, and it was headed away. Back to Timber, left side of the box, tries to get it into the penalty area. Nwaneri is dispossessed. They try to bring it clear with Sarr, doesn't quite get there, and then the shot from the edge of the area, right on the angle on this near side, was from Jesus, but it was low and not firm enough, and easily caught by Dean Henderson, who drops upon it and will clear away for Crystal Palace. 10 minutes played. It's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1.
It was actually Mateta at the near post who was a little bit weak with his challenge, which allowed that to skip across the
given
box.
Away by Mitchell, and Sterling is in the area. It's back to Trossard over the bar from the edge of the box. It was cut back by Sterling, who'd robbed the ball on this near side from Tyreek Mitchell, who lost concentration. He laid it back to the 18-yard line where Trossard was arriving just inside the D. He approached the ball and slapped it right over the top of the crossbar.
Overplaying Palace, overplaying there, don't need to. Got a goal already, serve it forward up to Mateta. They're petrified of him in the first 10 minutes. Why don't you just keep doing that? Serve it forward, don't take unnecessary risks.
Barcelona have beaten Manchester City women by 3-0 to win Group D of the Champions League. Barcelona 3, Manchester City 0. Arsenal, their women's side, play tonight in the Champions League. That is an 8 o'clock kickoff. We have Ian Abrahams there for that this evening. Busy week for the Arsenal women. They're in Oslo on Thursday night, played at the weekend, and then play again this evening. And they only won narrowly at the weekend. Alessia Russo's goal, giving them a 1-0 victory. Missed a penalty in that game too. Here is Partey for the Arsenal men, who want to get through to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, but they're trailing here to Crystal Palace thanks to a goal scored by Jean-Philippe Mateta. And they are a counter-attacking team. They're good at counter-attacking, Crystal Palace, because they move so quickly through the thirds. They're not afraid to be direct.
No, absolutely right. They've been particularly good lately with this shape, and it does work, this shape. I think particularly for a team now that are in front, can be hard to penetrate through the middle of the park. So again, Arsenal might have to go a little bit longer themselves and try and find perhaps Gabriel Jesus or Raheem Sterling one-on-one in the wider areas a bit.
Well, they've had a few initial teething problems, Crystal Palace, this season, but they've certainly found a bit of form recently. Unbeaten in 5 games coming into this in all competitions, winning their last two of the last 3 outings. Here is Tierney, far side, guides it back to halfway. Jorginho tries to launch it forward to Jesus. I think he might have been offside had it had gone through to him, but it didn't reach him anyway, and Crystal Palace clear. Again, a little bit hesitant in the way they challenge for the ball there. Partey guilty this time, and as Eze tries to wriggle through a tight gap of 2 players, it's Ethan Nwaneri who has to come back and win it.
Yeah, I think again the danger for Palace when you score in a big game like this so early on is that you tend to sit and bank up and perhaps not quite so adventurous. Don't allow Arsenal too much time. There's a long ball up the middle there from Jurrien Timber. Decent run from Trossard. It just skips through off this wet surface into Henderson's hands.
Well, of course, they took the lead after just 4 minutes against Manchester City just a couple of weeks ago, the 7th of December.
Yep.
On 4 minutes, Daniel Munoz scored.
Correct.
So it's a sort of repeat of that.
Yep.
That was at home, though. Erling Haaland hit back within 26 minutes on the half-hour mark. He scored. Maxence Lacroix put Palace back in front,
yeah,
only for Rico Lewis to equalise.
Yeah, led twice, yeah.
Here it's 1-0 to Crystal Palace, the visitors, on Carabao Cup quarter-final night. Newcastle against Brentford, Southampton against Liverpool is over on Talksport 2. And there's a great breakfast show tomorrow, available from 6 o'clock in the morning, and the boys entertaining acting royalty tomorrow, as well as, of course, reviewing all of the week's Carabao Cup action. Ball sent down the near touchline by Thomas Partey. A poor delivery, went straight out of play, and it goes out for a throw-in. I think they will miss the rampaging runs and link-up play on the right-hand side of Daniel Munoz. I think he's been in particularly good form.
He has been good.
There's a chance for Kapora, isn't it? Because he's apparently impressed Glasner in training. He's been talking about that this week.
Again, I think early on, we've seen already that physically he looks a quick lad, and so physically not a problem to him. That's the one good thing about this Palace side. They are all very athletic. Will Hughes probably the exception to that.
Oh, given away by Jesus rather sloppily, and Sarah's picked it up edge of the area, right-footed. Oh, spilt by Raya. I'm not entirely sure what he was trying to do there, but he sort of fumbled the ball away. Didn't get his hand up quick enough, and then managed to guide it away towards the near touchline. Eventually it goes out for a throw-in. That looked like a little bit of a mishap, not once but twice by Arsenal, who really have started sloppily.
Yeah, they have. Sarr again, it is down the right side, just gets to the edge of the 18-yard box, slightly on the angle, hits it hard and low, and Raya gets behind it, but as you say, spills it, thankfully spills it enough out towards his opposite post, and Partey picks the ball up. But Arsenal just, again, trying to probe and are still trying to find a little route that just might give them a little bit of joy. So far, that's not happening. Palace look pretty resolute, very strong, decent shape.
You know, what Palace mustn't do is give away free kicks and corners, because Arsenal have become maybe a little bit over-reliant on their conjuring tricks on set pieces.
Can they be as effective tonight, Sam, without the big guys? Without Gabriel and Saliba?
Good point, yeah.
Are those corners going to have the same sort of effect? We saw one that was cleared off the line, but it's interesting to see whether they can really make them work again.
Sterling down the near touchline, trying to get past Tyreek Mitchell. Mitchell readjusts and gets a foot in and sends it away to safety. Gay gets it further clear. Eze takes it down. He's still inside his own half when he flicks it to the other side of the pitch, and Kapora now can bring it out from the right fullback position. He travels down the touchline, then turns under pressure from Trossard and goes back towards the 18-yard box, where it's with Maxence Lacroix of Crystal Palace in possession in those yellow shirts with thick blue trim They move the ball up to halfway now with Tyreek Mitchell wide on the left, infield to Lerma. Lerma's crossfield ball from the halfway line, spread perfectly out to Kapoor, who takes it brilliantly with a one-touch control, then motors towards the edge of the penalty area, then tries to skip infield and then clatters into Marino on the edge of the penalty area and gives away a free kick. He got a little bit over-eager there after losing the ball.
Yeah, but nonetheless, nice switch. When Palace do that, the wing-backs have got plenty of time and space. Kapoor it was, who just got a little bit excited as he ran towards the edge of the 18-yard box and overcooked it, and eventually commits the foul and the pressure is relieved. But Oliver Glasner again applauding every time his team go for that forward pass and look like they try and find someone in a bit of space. That's exactly what he wants.
Well, the goal that separates these two teams has come from Jean-Philippe Mateta, who has got a terrific record under Oliver Glasner. The goals have sort of dried up recently. He's got only a handful this season, but he scored tonight. Here is Trossard clipping it in towards the near post. Lacroix takes charge before Henderson can come and grab on the edge of the 6-yard box. He dabs it away from the left wing cross. It's then cleared up towards Mateta, and Mateta
clatters
just sort of uses his body as a battering ram and squashes Kivior into the ground.
But at least the Arsenal man got his head on that one, Sam.
He then very quickly nearly lost his head to Jean-Philippe Mateta. Actually, when you look at the size difference between Kivior and Mateta, you can sort of understand why Kivior is a little bit reluctant to try and go up and try and win it aerially, because there is a huge difference between the two in terms of height.
So again, why wouldn't you hit him if on the diagonal? If Palace get over the halfway line and their options are limited, perhaps you can stand one up to Mateta and get Eza and get Sarr, people running in and around him, running off him, because he should win it 9 out of 10.
27-year-old who did have a knock at the weekend has just gone into the back line to defend this free kick for Arsenal, which is going to be taken midway between the halfway line and the penalty area on the near right-hand side. Wanyeri standing over it, so is Leandro Trossard. And Kivior moving to the back post. Marino, who's got a bit of height, is there too. Thomas Partey. They're the sort of three now that they'll have to aim at, because there's no Saliba or Gabriel, as we've already mentioned this evening. 8 changes for Arsenal. Wanyeri sending the ball curling towards the penalty spot. Partey heads it back towards Jesus. There was a bit of a weak effort to try and control it there. He was edged off it too easily by Tyreek Mitchell, but it's come back through to Partey, who can't control, and then Gay manages to clear from inside the 18-yard box. He's found Ezer actually on the near touchline, who looks to scoot infield past Trossard and then can't get away from him. Trossard commits a foul. Not sure that was really.
Yeah, just run into a glut of red and white shirts there, Ezer, but he's so confident and happy to do that. No, that's what I like.
Oh dear, and he's taken a quick free kick, which is aimed towards Raya, who was off his line, and it went sailing over the bar, fortunately for the Arsenal goalkeeper, but that was a little bit ambitious from Eze.
Yeah, he's 2 yards inside Arsenal's half. He sees David Raya off his line. He pings it beautifully. It's just always a little bit too big, but I was just getting on to the point about happy to receive the ball under pressure, Sam, and he's a fine example of that nowadays. You know you can trust him. You give him the ball and he'll protect it.
Yeah. And he has made such a difference at a time when they've had to up the ante and try and find a little bit of creativity. And he's a gem here on the right side. Wanyeri trying to get down the outside of Gay. Comes back on his left foot. Gay watches it all the way. I mean, he gets better and better every week, doesn't he, Mark Gay? I think there were a few eyebrows raised when he was given the England starting shirt at the European Championships, but he was the best performer. And he's been excellent for Palace.
Yeah.
He had a few wobbles actually earlier in the season when they were sort of trying out different combinations at the back, and it took a little while to find this combination. But since these three have come together, I think they've all excelled.
Well, I would imagine Oliver Glasner delighted that move to Newcastle never materialised when it looked like it might at some point in the summer, because, as you say, he's a top player.
Thomas Partey throws the ball in from the near side. It goes onto the head of Marino, who tries to tee it up for Trossard. He went to pull the trigger at the back post and then miscontrolled. And then Will Hughes will eventually unpick a knot inside the area as Trossard goes down. Feed Kapora, and he clears upfield. This time Urian Timber drags Mateta, so he can't engage with Kivior. And then Sarr commits a foul in a scrappy period of play, which eventually generates Arsenal a free kick 10 yards inside the Palace half of the field. It's 1-0 to Crystal Palace live on Talksport. Newcastle against Brentford is 6 minutes old. It's still goalless there. Southampton-Liverpool starts at 8 o'clock over on Talksport 2. Barcelona have beaten Manchester City women by 3-0 to win that group. And Arsenal take on Bayern Munich a little bit later on. Gueye, deep inside his own half, almost by the byline, touches the ball and feeds it to Eze. Eze tries to clip it up to Mateta, but Jurrien Timber is there. Jorginho back to Kivior, who chests it down. David Raya comes out of his goal and moves himself into the left full-back position to act as an extra man. Receives it, passes it straight to Timber, and Arsenal on the front foot again.
Yeah. Without really testing Henderson enough, Arsenal starting to get a bit of momentum, starting territorially to play pretty much in Palace's half most of the time.
It took a while, didn't it? But they're starting to find that now. Here is Trossard down the left. He's scooting away from Kapora, and Kapora gets a yellow card for swiping away his leg. Now, he's pleaded his innocence, and so has Jefferson Lerma, but the free kick has been given, and it will be like a short hockey corner over on the far side. It was tight, that.
Yeah, it's a foul. It denies Leandro Trossard the chance of standing across up from the byline. So, in that respect, I think we'll go with the referee. It wasn't a nasty challenge from Kapora at all. It was just a foul, but it just denied Arsenal an advantage in that moment. Trossard just getting back up onto his feet, limping a little bit, but again, another free kick from a wide area. Arsenal have a number of red shirts all stacking up, as you're very aware, at the back post, ready to make those runs in and around those yellow shirts.
Let's see what happens from this latest delivery. Partey, Jesus, Marino and Kivior all loaded on the back edge of the 6-yard box, about a step outside it. It's wide on the left-hand side, the free kick. They're at the far stick, further away, closest to us. We're level with the edge of the 18-yard box inside the end of the ground that Arsenal are attacking, away to our right. Dean Henderson just organising his line, and it's it's about almost level with the kick that's being taken. The line is on the edge of the 6-yard box. Lerma's just retreated now as the ball about to come in from Trossard, who puts one hand in the air. They're going to reset here because they went a little bit too early, the Arsenal aggressors, and now Will Hughes has got too close to the ball, so the referee's being pernickety. Here is the eventual delivery by Trossard, run under the goalkeeper, who punches it away with relative ease, and then Eze gets it up towards Kapora, who's wrestled but doesn't end up getting a free kick, and then it's up to the halfway line and Jorginho, but Arsenal win it back with Thomas Partey, 20 yards inside Palace territory, onto Jesus, tackled from behind. Nwaneri emerges with the ball from a knot of yellow shirts. Nwaneri twists and turns but holds on to possession. He's got really no route to anyone in red. Eventually finds Sterling near touchline, and then he has to go back to the halfway line.
Yeah, Palace doing their job there, just forcing Arsenal backwards, gentle pressure, keeping your shape. Nobody diving in.
Jesus looks to try and beat the offside trap, brings the ball down as the ball goes over the top. He gets into the penalty area and then took too long, turned away, declined the opportunity to run into the penalty box. And when that ball goes over the top, Andy, did he need to sort of try and control it so it went in front of him?
Yeah, maybe. He had a chance to get the shot away as well, even after his first touch there, Gabby Jesus, but didn't take it, recycled it, and Palace get the chance to recover. And that's the problem sometimes. You know, you can find a good pass, it can put someone in a good area. If you keep chopping back out and going and restarting and recycling, which a lot of teams do nowadays, you give your opponents a chance to recover and get back.
Arsenal have only scored 18 goals from open play. That's fewer than 8 clubs in the Premier League this season. One of those is Wolves. And they are struggling to find those sort of devastating transitions that would demolish any side that was too open against them. They could always appear to prize open even the deepest of blocks, but that has deserted them in recent weeks. There's been a breakthrough in the game at St James's Park. It's only 10 minutes old. Which way's it gone? Mark Wilson.
Newcastle 1, Brentford 0, and a goal for Sandro Tonali, his first in 16 months. Good work, Livramento down the right, put in a great cross. It was cleared off the 6-yard line. It fell to Tonali 20 yards out, and he rifled it in the bottom corner. Newcastle 1, Brentford 0.
Not in great form, but they have won 6 of 10 home games this season, Newcastle United, and they're in front this evening at St James Park. Southampton-Liverpool coming on Talksport 2 in just a few moments. In fact, just 4 minutes away from kickoff in that game. down at St Mary's. If you want to listen to Talksport 2, pretty easy. You can download our app. You can flick between the stations, Talksport and Talksport 2. We've also got Talk Radio on there. We've got Times Radio, Virgin Radio Anthems, all available for you on the Talksport app. Just download it. Give yourself a little Christmas present. Nice early one. Download it. You can flip between the two.
Yep, Arsenal are still trying. I do think the way forward for them might be like that pass to Gabriel Jesus about 3 or 4 minutes ago, Sam. Something a little longer. A couple of short passes, and then all of a sudden ping one out into the wide areas to try and get Sterling. Trossard in particular. Kapora, young man, now on a yellow card. Just now with that ball through for Gabriel Jesus, he was the deepest defender, Kapora. Now as a wing-back, that should never be the case. So he just might have got rattled a little bit. And I think you've got to keep working that area. You've got to test him and ask him questions.
27 gone. Nwaneri miscontrols. Hughes forward, chested down by Eze, then flicked forward down the left-hand side for Mitchell. Mitchell trying to speed away from Partey. And Partey rather clumsily, I think after a bit of contact from Mitchell, puts the ball out down by the corner flag, and it's away for a throw to Crystal Palace. 27 gone, Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. The goal coming after 3.5 minutes. A long straight ball from Henderson, was allowed to bounce by Kivior, misjudged it. Mateta didn't, took it down, went wide towards the left edge of the 6-yard box and then squeezed it into the far corner across David Raya, and they lead by a goal to 0 as a result of that. Since then, very few Arsenal opportunities, actually, Andy. I don't think Dean Henderson really has been called into action too many times. If you look at the shot count so far, they've had 2 shots on target so far, but I don't think they've really troubled Dean Henderson.
No, they haven't. Not really. What they haven't done is stretched or disrupted that Palace central 3 defenders. Haven't really got them scrambling and lunging in and trying to make desperate tackles on the edge of the box. That's when you have to be very, very careful. But so far, everything's been in front of Palace and they're able to deal with it.
Here is Sterling on the near side. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it, but social media has been awash with memes and AI images of Arsenal's best in Stoke shirts in a nod of their penchant for set play routines. It's a bit disingenuous, really, because they are a team that actually over the last couple of years have finished second twice, been very good actually in possession of the football, but there is valid concerns, I think, that they have been leaning on dead ball situations too much in recent times.
Maybe, because I don't think they've been at their absolute imperious best for a few weeks, really, Arsenal. They got through that blip, seemed to get that sorted out, but I don't think they've got absolutely up to full speed. But those set plays, if you work at them and take time on them, and clearly they do, then you can make them work. Eventually, as we've seen tonight already, with one corner, Palace left 3 up, which means Arsenal have to send 3 back, which obviously leaves you a little bit vulnerable, maybe if the goalie catches it and pumps one up the middle. So there will be ways to counteract it, but Arsenal have been good with them.
Trossard into Jesus, edge of the area, trying to wriggle free, gets dragged to the floor by Lacroix. It's going to be a free kick 3 yards outside the box.
That's the first one we've seen. A ball into Gabriel Jesus' feet, a yard outside the box, and a little bit of a lunge, and all of a sudden a free kick given on the edge of the box. Lacroix getting just a little too tight. He's grabbing the shirt and the arm of the Arsenal centre forward, concedes the free kick. Absolutely prime position this to nip something over the wall and keep it under the bar.
Well, Urin Timber has gone over to mediate between those who are putting their hand up to take it. It's almost like they're queuing to take it. Trossard is there, Sterling is there.
There's a committee there, isn't there, around the ball?
Marino's gone across. Kivior's been sent away into the wall. Jorginho's standing in front of Dean Henderson in an offside position. And referee Andy Madley has just gone over and said to him, well, if you stand there, you will be obscuring the view of the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And that means that you'll be in an offside position.
He's there originally now. He's there now to just try and disrupt Dean Henderson getting that wall in the best possible position.
Yeah, that's all he's done. He's actually walked away now.
Now he walks away, he has to, because he knows he'll be offside. But again, minor details don't really affect Henderson. He's able to see through that and round that and sort that wall out. Now it's got to do its job.
Fourth start for Raheem Sterling in an Arsenal shirt. He's placed the ball down. Trossard is there as well. Trossard, who has 4 goals already this season, steps up, leaves it for Sterling. He's looking for his second Arsenal goal, and he hits it right-footed over the wall, and it's palmed over the top by Henderson. It was a good save.
Lucky. Good strike that from Raheem Sterling, because that did have the dip on it. That was coming down under the bar. I tell you what, it's a decent stop that. Dean Henderson at full stretch, right arm out. Has to make sure he gets a good hand on that, and he does. If it had been just a fraction more into the top corner, I don't think he gets it.
Yeah, he just needed to be just a little bit over to the side, didn't it, to really outfox Henderson. Still 1-0 to Crystal Palace. Ball out over on the far side, then a corner for Arsenal. Again, everybody very deep at the back edge of the 6-yard box for Arsenal. And now they start to move towards the near post as the ball goes high towards that back post. Marino has kept it alive. He's tried to loop it towards the far stick and looked for it to drop in the far corner, but he couldn't do what Thomas Souček did against Wolverhampton Wanderers the other day. Instead, the ball goes out of play and away for a goal kick.
Yeah, and I think that's actually sensible there, that option from Trossard, because they don't have Gabriel and Saliba, who are their chief protagonists when it comes to these corners. He went big there, Trossard. He looped it to the far post. The others ran towards the near post. Marino stayed put, and he did the right thing. He tried to head it back towards that far post, but just a bit big.
It was interesting listening to Mikel Arteta actually after the game on Saturday, when it was sort of fed to him that was the third Premier League match in succession that Arsenal had failed to score from open play. He said, well, we did score 3 from open play in midweek against Monaco.
Did he? Is that what he said?
Yeah. So don't get too excited. He doesn't really care where the goals come from.
Of course
he doesn't think they come. He was actually telling this story. It was a bit convoluted. It was about 2 bottles of water. But the idea was, I think, it doesn't matter where the goals come from as long as they come.
Right, got it.
He said, you can put them into 2 different categories, but I have just 1 big bottle of water.
Got it. Been reading a few of them coaching manuals, hasn't he?
I think he has, yeah.
Too many of them.
Ball hooked clear by Kivior up to halfway. Drops down on the head of Gay and out towards the right-hand side. Into Mateta, who uses his frame well, then tries to feed it into Sarr, who just burst beyond him and down that right-hand side. Oh, they've got it back again thanks to Will Hughes, who I think has been very good actually this season for Crystal Palace, and he's lost it and then won it again and then got back and tried to win it some more, and eventually he has got it back for Crystal Palace. Gone back to Jorginho though, and now Arsenal come forward with Marino down the left-hand side. He's about 3 yards in from the touchline when he sends it on further wide towards the left, and Jesus, he goes back to the centre of the penalty area looking for Sterling, but it's too far in front of him, and Gay is there to stab it out and away for a throw-in over on the far side, level with the edge of the box. Arsenal on the attack.
Yeah, because they got those 3 centre-halves, Palace. When that ball arrives in the box, they've just got those extra numbers, that extra yellow shirt there to get a block or get an interception. So Arsenal trying hard. They've had pretty much the lion's share of it now for a good quarter of an hour or so, without, again, working Dean Henderson quite enough. But I think Arteta will feel that eventually now his team are getting up to speed. Palace have become now accustomed to just sitting. They're sitting there, they're trying to bank up, they're waiting without seeing a lot of the ball.
Nwaneri deep inside his own half, being forced back by Eze. Sends it on to Thomas Partey, who's just swung into the centre for a moment as Timber has walked out of defence and into midfield. It's up to Jesus and then out to the left, and now it's with Tierney, whose ball into the near post is flicked on by Marino. Doesn't quite reach Raheem Sterling, and it's cleared away again by Crystal Palace, and Mateta again winning it in front of the defence, but Sarr, then when it came to him, just too heavy with his touch, and Arsenal have it once more.
Yeah, poor touch. The ball is again the Palace clearance into the feet of Mateta, bumps it back to Sarr. As you rightly point out, Sam, poor touch, and once again Arsenal have the ball. Can they find an extra runner into the box, the red and white shirts? Can they get someone else in there to just pull Guéhi, Lacroix and Chalobah around a little bit more, stretch that line and ask a few more questions, open up a few gaps?
Yeah, sometimes the football's been a little bit safe from Arsenal. They might need to sort of stretch it out towards the flanks as well and start playing it with a greater tempo to try and prise open this very stubborn Crystal Palace defence that is well set so far. Sterling trying to be a bit braver and cut past 3 yellow shirts, and then Jurrien Timber kicks the ball at Lerma, saying that he delayed the restart. Referee Andy Madley says, no, you kicked it at him, I saw that, I'm not going to book him for it. It's going to be a free kick that we will now wait for just short of the centre circle. 10 minutes to go before half time.
Aren't we great sports, us footballers, eh? Aren't we? We're always there to offer a hand to help someone up, and Instead of that, we want to get everyone booked, don't we?
Yeah. I mean, how is Carl Walker, by the way? Is he finished his prescription yet?
Oh dear, don't.
Well, that went down about as well as Carl Walker, didn't it? Yeah.
What was he thinking there?
Here is Jorginho trying to turn and feed the ball over the top, looking for the run of Trossard. It's away by Chalobah, and then caught by Partey, and then he turns it into Nwaneri, gets it back again. Jorginho is being harassed by Mateta just in front of the halfway line. Again, a lot of the football happening in this sort of area of the field, that no man's land between the edge of the centre circle and the edge of the D, where Arsenal can have possession. Palace are happy for them to have possession. What they don't want is for them to try and get the ball into the box. They might do that now with Nwaneri trying to get it back to Trossard before he can. Lerma is there snapping through up to Sterling, round the corner to Partey. His ball is poor through the 18-yard box.
Yeah.
And it goes out for a goal kick away to our right.
Some nice intricate football from Arsenal. It's got to be perfect. It's a really fast surface tonight. And one or two touches there in the middle of the park. He eventually comes out to Thomas Partey, got himself in that wide right position. The cross, though, I'm afraid evades everybody. It goes out for a goal kick. Just seeing a rerun on our monitors here, Sam, of the Mateta goal. How he holds Kivior off, waits, has a little look, and then slots it very calmly and coolly past David Raya.
It's the moment that the ball comes towards Kivior and he sort of doesn't commit to the header. It's sort of half-hearted as he goes in and almost heads it against Mateta. It's really poor that allows it to go through. It's picked up by the Frenchman and he runs right through the middle of the Arsenal half and slots home for 1-0, and he's got it again on the edge of the penalty area, controls it on his thigh, takes it down the right side, looks to try and turn it back to the edge of the box. He thought someone was there, they weren't. Jorginho was, and he picks it up for Arsenal. Instead of releasing that down into the left channel for Sterling to sprint into, he then played it just sideways to Nwaneri.
Yeah, and he played it to feet, Sam, as well. And you're right, it lost all the momentum. When they turned the ball over there, Mateta lost possession on the edge of the Arsenal 18-yard box. And then once they get it into the middle of the park quickly, they've got to then look for something incisive to turn Palace around and really give Trossard and Sterling a chance.
Yeah, and it was just a little bit too safety and not enough in terms of ambition, I think, with the ball. Good start, though, at Meadow Park in Boreham Wood. Here's Talksport's Ian Abrahams.
7 minutes gone. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0. The goal's officially gone down to Caitlin Ford. A corner played in. I think it was actually Magdalena Eriksson who headed it into her own net. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0.
So, Ian Abrahams, just to clarify, Arsenal score from another set piece.
It's another set piece. I'm going to have to put it to the manager later. They're just like Stoke ladies.
Careful. Well, we are putting our tongue firmly in our cheek there. It's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. This is Talksport, and Arsenal leading 1-0 in the Women's Champions League as well against Bayern Munich. Thomas Partey gets it back to Jakob Kivior. We've got 6 minutes before half-time. I think Mikel Arteta, who's changed 8 players tonight, I think he'd be a little bit disappointed with what he's seen so far from his team, especially from an attacking perspective.
Correct. It's been a bit tame, Sam, in that respect. I wonder whether at half-time he might consider a couple of big changes. You know, they are on the bench. He's got Saka, he's got Odegaard. Is it Saliba and Gabriel, both of them too?
Yeah.
You know,
Saka, Martinelli, Havertz, Saliba.
There you go.
Gabriel.
I'd be very tempted for one at least.
Eze has it halfway. Arsenal again thwarted. They can't get anywhere near that 18-yard box. Lacroix into centre field, controlled by Will Hughes, who's the only one on the pitch with blonde hair, almost white hair, blonde, white. Will Hughes, who stands out a mile in that centre circle. He plays the ball forward, picked up to Lerma. Lerma then switches the play towards the left-hand side of Mitchell. Mitchell tussling and fighting with Sterling, and it goes all the way back to David Raya. Yeah, that's natural, that blonde hair. It is. He doesn't dye it like that.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Do you know he's been a really good steady player, Will, and he's very, very cool and calm with the ball at his feet. Sees things nice and early. Has a simplicity to his game. Doesn't obviously want to get involved in too much physical stuff. Doesn't want to go shoulder to shoulder over 50 yards with anybody if he can help it. But he never gets himself in those sort of positions where he's too vulnerable. He's a very smart footballer.
He came off the bench in the game against Liverpool earlier in the season, and he turned the tide. They were under the cosh. They were already having a kick in the game actually in that match, and then he came on and everything changed, and they ended up having great chances at the end of that match and could have got back into it. Here's Wanyeri, edge of the Palace area, out to the right, collected by Sterling, clipping the ball towards the far post. Marino is trying to get there, but Kapora got there first and nudged it out for a corner.
Better, because they had better numbers in the box there. Wanyeri was who fed Raheem Sterling out on this right-hand side. One touch just to settle it, stands it up. Not a special cross, but it just gives one or two a chance to get in there and make the numbers up. They do that, and as a result, they get a corner.
Arsenal lead. Arsenal behind by a 0-0 against Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup quarter-finals. Arsenal 0, Palace 1, Newcastle 1, Brentford 0, Southampton 0, Liverpool 0 over on Talksport 2, and Arsenal lead 1-0 in the Champions League, the Women's Champions League against Bayern Munich at Boreham Wood. 42 minutes on the clock. Mateta's goal separates these two here in the Carabao Cup as Trossard swings another corner in towards the near post, punched away by Henderson. It'll come back to Trossard, who goes down the side, outwits the defender. Left-footed cross is too big, goes right the way through the 6-yard box and runs out the other side, and Gabriel Jesus scurrying to try and keep it in. Doesn't quite run for him, and there's a bit of frustration amongst the Emirates crowd as they all start to go out now. Many of them in Christmas jumpers tonight, and get hot dogs and burgers and pints at half-time.
Lucky Devils. Yeah.
What, the Christmas jumpers you're talking about?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, there's one going past me as I speak.
Yeah.
That must have taken a while to knit that one.
It's very colourful, wasn't it? It was, blue snowmen, big sort of green Christmas trees. There was all sorts going on there. Here's Marino into the path of Trossard. Trossard down into the feet of Gabriel Jesus, who's got his back to goal. They lay it back to Marino again, then back out to the far side. And Tierney now trying to get the better of Kapora. He goes on the outside. Kapora sticks with him. He's still got it, Tierney. Needs to reverse it and does to Marino. Tries to turn. Gives it back to his former teammate at Sociedad. Sends the cross into the box towards the edge of the 6-yard box. And then it's only half clear by Palace. Back down the right now it goes. Raheem Sterling. Oh, an offside flag is up.
Wow. Late. That was a late flag. Because there was another complete phase of play there before the linesman decided to put his flag up. Might have been right initially. I mean, again, of course, we know that the officials and the linesmen, they do wait, they do pause. But we're just seeing Mikel Arteta, arms folded, just looking like, what do I do at half-time? Do I twist? Do I play a card? Do I bring on one of the guys that just might raise the noise levels in the stadium a little bit more and inspire one or two around them?
Well, the problem is they haven't been scoring enough goals to blow teams away, and they have been conceding goals. It used to be the bedrock, didn't it? You know, they hadn't conceded here actually in any of their last 4 home games until Mateta's goal tonight, but 12 of their last 19 games they've had their defence breached in. And although last week against Everton they gave nothing away, they conceded at Fulham not so long ago. They've conceded here, and when you do that, you've got to make sure that you get on the score sheet, and they haven't done that tonight. They didn't do that at the weekend, and that will be a source of frustration for the Arsenal fans as they give away a free kick midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. So Crystal Palace on the attack, about 15 yards from the edge of the penalty area, just left of centre, and this is probably going to be, Andy Townsend, the last act of the first half.
It's one of those that you either think, shall we keep it? It's a long way out. It's, what is it, Sam? 30 plus yards, isn't it? It is, just off centre. Eza is having a little look along with Will Hughes and Gahey. I'm beginning to wonder whether they think, let's just keep this and keep this going to a wider area, get in at half-time 1-0. The worst thing you want to do is knock it straight into Raya's hands, and he boots it down the middle, and all of a sudden you're running back towards your own goal. It is an opportunity, though, for Eza to see if he can fizz something a bit special.
Eza standing over it. He takes a curved run up. It is about 32 yards from goal. He steps up right foot. He slams it into the first man, which is Wanyeri. And it comes back out to halfway where Tyreek Mitchell is waiting for it. 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half. The ball into the box. Raya's got it. First time ball clipped clear up towards Trossard, but Kapora was there.
Yeah, he did well, the young fullback there. Very well, kept his eye on the ball.
Oh dear, they've done it again, and Timber's got outdone by Mateta. Mateta with a back heel into Sarr, almost comes off, but it's pinched by Timber, who stood in the way, nabbed it for Arsenal and managed to get it clear. But there was all sorts of befuddlement in that Arsenal defence once again, and Mateta took full advantage. Here comes Jesus down the left for Arsenal as we approach the final few seconds of the first half. He throws the ball into the 18-yard box. It's over the head of Trossard and bounces through to Henderson. And Henderson really now should just keep hold of it and see the time out.
Yeah, that'll be pretty much it, I think, as everyone around us is all off for a well-earned little comfort break at half-time. And I'm sure the Palace boys will be in. Oliver Glasner will be delighted. Arteta's some thinking to do.
Certainly has. They couldn't see off Fulham or Everton, and now Arsenal are struggling to see off Crystal Palace. Jean-Philippe Mateta scoring the goal after 3.5 minutes. It was him taking advantage of some hesitancy in the Arsenal backline. In particular, Jakob Kivior had a very wobbly start, and it means that Crystal Palace are 45 minutes away from the Carabao Cup semi-finals. Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1.
And you only get the word befuddlement on a Talksport commentary. Thank you very much, Sam Matterface. And I tell you what, Andy Townsend, you know, sometimes you wish you'd said something before the game. Out of my notes, I'll read what was written down on my notes. JP Mateta can cause havoc. And
sorry,
he did.
I can't give you that one. If you before the game, I mean, we can all say that. We can all say that.
I'm ruining myself. I'm killing myself because I knew I should have said it. Ran out of time, didn't say it, but he caused them havoc, didn't he? And
he certainly did.
I mean, Kivior would be on his haunches in the corner of the dressing room by now, rocking back and forth, saying, please don't let him play in the second half. He's ruined him in that first 5 minutes.
Well, he did. You're absolutely right. The one that he got through and slotted it beautifully for his goal. Again, Kivior didn't attack it, let it bounce, and then Mateta was too big and too strong and too physical for him and finished it nicely. And then there was one a couple of minutes after that, another one in the other channel. And again, Kivior decided to let it bounce. And once he gets his frame in front of people, Mateta, you're not going to knock him out of the way. You're not going to get it. So you have to make a smart decision. You're either going to challenge in the air for the ball and go 100% for it, or you get a front screen, you get someone back on his toes a bit to make it awkward for him to control it. But when Palace go into him and Sarr's making a run and Ezra's available, then they look like they can cause Arsenal problems. Arsenal have dominated possession, all the stats favour them, but without really hurting Dean Henderson. He'll be in there, sitting in there now, gloves off, thinking another 45 like that and we're in a semi-final.
Absolutely. And on Mateta, yes, it's clearly he's very strong. He's pacey as well, pacey with the ball as well, which is rare. He's also cute and clever with his gamesmanship. So there's a little nudge on Kivior as he's about to head it that puts him off. That, I mean, listen, a picky referee might actually pull him up on that, but that's cute and clever, trying to get an edge. He can finish as well. Just one thing on Kivior, when he goes to head the ball, he closes his eyes. Now, we all did this at school, but we're all told not to close your eyes when they head the ball. So, I mean, why is a professional footballer at that level closing his eyes when he heads the ball?
I'm not sure. I mean, look, I've got to be honest with you, he's 75 yards away from me, so I can't tell whether they're open or shut. But one thing I do know is that I'm sure 100% Glasner in there is saying now, look, expect more from them. You would expect more from Arsenal, more creation, more invention. However, if we're going to clear our lines, if we go big enough to Mateta, he can bully those two central defenders tonight. He can make life very, very difficult for Timber or Kivior. Thomas Partey's playing in that right back position, so you have that in the back of your mind. If you're clearing your lines, put some air on it, knock it high, give Mateta a chance to get under it and around it, and if he hangs on to it, I could see it, particularly Ismaila Sarr, maybe getting himself a chance or two.
They have a strong bench, Arsenal, but this is also an Arsenal, that strong bench was in the 11 when they couldn't break down Everton at the weekend. So are we looking at a problem that's emerging for Mikel Arteta now?
Well, I think it's been apparent for a while about the goals and the output and where they're coming from. As Sam and I were talking about in commentary, you know, the set plays,
over-reliance on corners,
yeah, the set plays have been so useful for them in that respect. But tonight everything's been in front of Crystal Palace. I mentioned about how good they are athletically. They've done very, very well. I like the three at the back. They complement each other. They're concentrating. They're focused. So Arsenal have got to come up with something a little more special, a little bit better than what they've offered so far. I think he's got to make a change. I'm looking out there on the parkade. Can I see someone looking like they might be entering the fray anytime soon? No, I can't. But I don't think it'll be long. The atmosphere's gone a little flat. They need picking up, everyone in the stadium, and I think someone off the bench will do that.
We'll see. Andy, thanks very much. Back with you for the second half. Palace leading 1-0 live on Talksport at the Emirates. Newcastle 1-0 up against Brentford in a 7:45 kickoff. So still in the first half at St James Park. A rocket from the edge of the box from Sandro Tonali. Here at St Mary's in the swirling rain on the south coast. It is still Southampton 0, Liverpool 0. Darwin Núñez has been way off target with a couple of efforts. And Southampton just a moment ago actually had a 3-on-2. Should have probably done better. Tyler Dibbling, the teenager, finished it off by shooting straight at Quivin Kelleher in the Liverpool goal. So it stays Southampton 0, Liverpool 0. You can watch Usyk Fury 2 this Saturday live on DAZN pay-per-view. The cost to watch the fight varies depending on what DAZN subscription you buy. So check all of that out on the DAZN website and see what works for you. Have to say though, Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. Could be how things turn out this evening. It would be a shock. Palace have never won a major trophy. Are they on their way? They're 1-0 up live on Talksport.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Get in! Finally found the perfect sofa. A massaging, reclining, pink chaise longue. What a win. Only thing is, I haven't shopped on this site before.
Maybe use PayPal. It could help you feel secure, knowing your card and bank information is safely stored.
Oh, good call. Looks like I'm sitting pretty. Wait.
Really? You're better than that. Don't just pay. PayPal.
Kick off on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18+. Gambleaware.org.
Live on DAZN, December 21st. Usyk versus Fury 2. Reignited. The two best heavyweights on the planet will collide. For redemption, for greatness, for legacy. Get closer to Fight Night with the best viewing experience, unrivaled talent lineup, and exclusive watch-alongs on DAZN, the global home of boxing. Buy the pay-per-view with no subscription required. Usyk vs Fury 2, December 21st. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
Yo, football fans, listen up. BetMGM brings Vegas entertainment to the biggest games and the biggest names. Because when it comes to betting on football, we're in a league of our own, baby. Offers? Oh, you know we got offers. Like bet £10 and get £40 in free bets. BetMGM, it's showtime.
New customers only. Wagering requirements and conditions apply. 18+. Please gamble responsibly.
It's a little-known fact that on Christmas Day, fairies like to put their magic wands away. Luckily for us, M&S have the big day sorted. There's the double-wrapped pigs in blankets, Cornish cruncher cauliflower cheese, and the main event, the M&S best-ever slow-cooked turkey crown that's ready in under 2 hours and completely foolproof. So we don't need our magic wands anyway. Cheers, M&S. This is not just food. This is M&S Christmas food. Selected stores.
Last minute party, what will I bring them? Something unexpected. Let's play scratch cards.
Trying to find something a bit different? Why not add some play to Christmas with scratch cards from the National Lottery? Pick them up in store now. Please gift responsibly. Rules and procedures apply. Players and gifters must be 18 or over.
Welcome back to another spectacular match day, but watch this. Looks like the fans are playing Coral's free reward shaker. The half and half scarfers shaking decisively for once. They bagged a super boost. Next to them, the prawn sandwich brigade. Oh, they've shaken up a free bet after that free lunch. Play Coral's free reward shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers this season. Coral, we're here for it.
18+ UK. Max 1 reward or offer per player per day. Reward restrictions, requirements and T's and C's apply. Gambleaware.org.
When it comes to drama,
this is a monumental moment.
Tension.
Big chance here.
And elation.
And the ball is in the back of the net.
The Premier League has it all. And this season you can hear it all on Game Day. Talksport's essential Premier League destination.
A goal to savour!
Get set for Game Day on Talksport with Sky Sports.
Job done!
Get the festive action, including the biggest Premier League, EFL and Carabao Cup games. Subscription required.
The time has come for the rematch in Riyadh. This Saturday night, Talksport brings you full ringside commentary of the massive unified heavyweight world title rematch between Alexander Usyk and Tyson Fury. Live from Saudi Arabia.
Uppercut from Fury, followed by the left hand and another right.
Hear all the build-up on Fight Night from 7:30 ahead of the main event.
The King has returned.
Usyk versus Fury 2. The rematch on Talksport.
Well, goal here at St Mary's. Liverpool leads. And there's some brilliance in it. There's some catastrophic play from Southampton in it as well. Actually, Southampton have the ball at the other end of the pitch. On the edge of his own box, Trent Alexander-Arnold, super feet to get out of trouble. He's sent two Saints players to the fan zone with his super skills. He's launched a ball forward for Núñez to run onto. Bednarak seemingly has it, but then manages only to flick it on in the path of Núñez, who slots home because McCarthy, inexplicably, the Saints keeper and captain tonight, actually stayed at home when probably he should have come. Núñez slots it into the corner of the net. I have to say, up till that point, Núñez had been awful, and even after he'd scored, the Saints fans and the Liverpool fans were both in chorus. You're just a pretty poor Andy Carroll, or words to that effect. But he's on the score sheet. He's got the goal. It's Southampton 0, Liverpool 1. Darwin Núñez with the goal here at St Mary's, and we're 26 minutes in. Let's get the half-time odds with Ladbrokes.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Get money back as a free bet up to £10 if one leg of your Football 5 Plus acca lets you down. Pre-match straight line accas only. Odds are 3-1 or greater. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Because at half-time it's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. Arsenal 11-5 to win in normal time. Palace are 11-8. The draw in 90 is evens, I think. That is, there might be a number missing from my screen. JP Mateta to score 2 or more is 9-1. That's the latest odds with Ladbrokes. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Odds update on Talksport with Ladbrokes. Supercharge your odds with our Odds Boost button. Selected markets applies to first £50 of stake. Terms apply. 18 plus gambleaware.org.
Just to be clear on that, the draw, Arsenal Palace in 90 minutes is 2-1. 18 plus gambleaware.org. Let's go round the grounds. Let's go to St James's Park. Newcastle Brentford Carabao Cup quarter final. Mark Wilson.
Newcastle 1, Brentford 0. Sandro Tonali's first goal since his debut back on the opening game of last season. What a strike it was as well from the edge of the D as across from Livramento was cleared away. There was Tonali, fired it into the bottom corner to deservedly give Newcastle the lead. Brentford only had one genuine opportunity, and it came within a minute of going behind. Sharda Fedvisu came into the box. He tried to poke it past Dubravka. Dubravka saved it, and as the ball fell between the two, Wissa went down looking for a penalty. Referee Sam Barrett waved it away, and as you're with us, well, Sandro Tonali got his second goal a few minutes ago. He's now got his third Newcastle goal. It's come from a corner, and he's just nonchalantly volleyed it in from 8 yards out. Nobody near him. It's 2 in the first half for Newcastle. It's 2 in the first half for Sandro Tonali. The goals as they go in on Talksport, and Newcastle taking a big step forward to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. It's not been a good night for the visitors. They lost Sepp van den Berg in the warm-up. They also lost Ethan Pinnock to injury as well, so they've been forced into a few changes for Thomas Frank's side, and it's not looking good for Brentford. St James's Park, ecstatic, huge goal. Tonali at the double. Newcastle 2, Brentford 0.
And the Newcastle League Cup finalists a couple of seasons ago. Can they go all the way this time? Let's check out the Women's Champions League. Arsenal taking on Bayern Munich at Boreham Wood. Ian Abrahams.
Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0. Remember, an Arsenal win sees them win the group and go through on top to the quarterfinals. Vigos Titor, the own goal on 7 minutes. It was a corner played in from the left-hand side, and she got the header, which was goal. Was the goalkeeper fumbled and fiddled with the ball, couldn't keep it out of the back of the net, and Arsenal were ahead. No other major chances at either end, really. Since then, Arsenal just managing the game really well. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 0.
And let's check out the darts. Ali Pali, Ian Danta.
Well, the first match is still on stage. Over an hour played between Jim Williams of Wales and Paolo Nebrida of the Philippines. Nebrida was 2 sets to 1 up in a race to 3. He's lost 3-2 here in the first round in his previous 2 attempts. Williams came back in the 4th set, winning 3 legs to 0 to make it 2-2. And he is 2 legs to 1 at Williams in the decider, but Nebrida is on throw. Later tonight, Nathan Aspinall, the world number 12, plays his second round match against Leonard Gates from America at the PDC World Darts, with live commentary of that Aspinall game on Talksport 2.
The final quarter-final of the Carabao Cup is tomorrow night. It's live on Talksport as Southampton take on Manchester United. No, Marcus Rashford hasn't travelled to North London for the game with the United squad. Scores tonight: Southampton 0, Liverpool 1 here at St Mary's. Darwin Nunez with the only goal so far. And we are half an hour in exactly. The 30 minutes has just come up. And Newcastle 2, Brentford 0 in a 7:45 kickoff. And Sandro Tonali has both. You heard the second one live on Talksport a moment ago. Waiting for the teams to come out at the Emirates. Andy Townsend is there. Arsenal, well, they need to score. They need to do something. They need to do something they couldn't do against Everton, and that's hit the back of the net.
Yes, they certainly do. Martin Odegaard has been out there for a couple of minutes sprinting up and down, so he's coming on. Looks like there's a change for Ethan Nwaneri. So positive move there in some respects. Nwaneri couldn't really get involved in the game enough. Odegaard now has to lead from the front. You've got to get on that ball and start getting Arsenal ticking.
Well, the interesting thing with Odegaard is he was taken off after 62 when they needed a goal on Saturday, and Arteta said it was his decision. Didn't mention coming back from injury, said it was his decision to take him off. So I think it's a strange decision, but let's see what he can do, I guess.
Indeed, yeah, we're getting ready to go.
Indeed we are. Arsenal 0, Palace 1. Here's your commentary team on Talksport: Andy Townsend and Sam Matterface.
Thomas Partey has also come off. So Thomas Partey and Ethan Nwaneri, both of them replaced at half-time. And William Saliba and Martin Odegaard come into the lineup for the second half when Arsenal need a goal to get back into it. And that looks like a little bit more of the team I was expecting to see tonight, Andy Townsend.
Yes, it does.
And it will mean a rejig. Timber going to right back and Saliba going into his natural position.
And again, any of those corners, wide free kicks, it just might give Palace a little bit more to consider. Nathaniel Klein also on for Crystal Palace, Sam.
He's going to replace Kapora, I think, at
on a yellow
half-time.
card.
He's made his first start. I don't think he did too much wrong, but as you say, was on a yellow card. As a result, has been switched out for the more experienced right wing back in Nathaniel Klein at the start of the second half. So one change for Crystal Palace and two for Arsenal. There has been another goal down at St Mary's. Talksport's Adrian Durham.
Yeah, lovely football from Liverpool, and they now lead by 2-0. Harvey Elliott with the finish. That's sweet for him. He's had an injury hit time. A lovely side-foot finish beyond Alex McCarthy, and this one actually looks all over. Southampton 0, Liverpool 2.
Thank you very much. Back here, the rain tumbling down. We're underway with red shirts, white sleeves, white shorts and red socks of Arsenal attacking the goal away to our left-hand side, in Crystal Palace all in yellow from head to toe with thick blue trim, attacking the goal away to our right, the goal in which their supporters are still the most vocal in the stadium because they lead by 1-0 at half-time. And Liverpool 2-0 up, Newcastle 2-0 up. Both of them look as if they're heading to the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. Who's going to join them? Arsenal, Crystal Palace. At the moment, Palace will be the favourites, but there's still a lot of work to do, especially with the changes.
A lot of work to do. Already seen some changes. I'm expecting more soon. It is absolutely hammering down with rain here at the Emirates. So, again, it's that sort of night where you have to ask questions of defenders. You have to test their first touch, test their decision-making. If Arsenal continue to play in front of this Palace team, then they're going to comfortably walk away with a 1-0. They've got to try and find better ways to get behind them.
And I was just thinking as you were talking there, I mean, that is how you describe what's happened for the first minute and a half of the second 45, and that is they're playing in front of Crystal Palace. They were quite happy to have the ball on the halfway line, just inside opposition territory, just playing it amongst themselves, not going anywhere fast.
Yep.
And as a result, then when they do try to spring Sterling in behind, the Palace defence either are alert to it or the ball's not right and it goes straight through to Henderson. It remains 1-0 to Palace.
The other thing that Odegaard does particularly well, as we know, he drifts into that space between midfield and defenders. Now, can Jorginho, can Marino, can those guys find him with a 10-15 yarder, not a 40 yarder? That's no good. You want to find him with a 10-15 yard pass, get him on the half turn and he can make something happen.
Kiwior does a little bit better this time under pressure from Ismail Assar. Brings the ball down in front of his own penalty area and then guides it to the right. It comes back to the pole and then out to the left. And that's a terrible pass by him, and it's cut out by Klein. And once again, Palace are on the front foot. They're coming forward. They've got Klein on this near side. He decides not to try and risk it and play it in behind the Arsenal defence, so goes back to the halfway line. and they look to build once again through Eze. Then Gay trying to turn from Ødegaard. He lifts the ball over the top for Mitchell, but it's not perfectly directed, and it slips out of play and away for a throw-in over on the far side. It's Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1. But Jakob Kivior, out of the two central defenders, bearing in mind that he's supposed to have been the specialist in the first half, it would have been him that I would have moved on.
He's had a little bit of a shaky experience in the first half, and of course in the opening couple of minutes there, a slack, simple pass from the left side of central defence out to his left back. He manages to find Nathaniel Klein with the ball and give it away. So I think all round Arsenal need more tempo, more intensity, apply more pressure. At the moment it's a very comfortable evening this for Crystal Palace. It really is. This is the sort of stuff they would have dreamt of last night, Glasner. An Arsenal team playing in front of them without any real penetration.
Now, Palace struggled for goals in the early part of the season, but in this competition it was never a problem for them, as Will Hughes commits a foul on the edge of the 18-yard box and Arsenal get a free kick. 8 goals before tonight, 9 goals now in 3.5 games for Palace, 2 each in the Villa and QPR matches, 4 at home to Norwich, 1 here, and the only team that stopped them scoring in the last 9 games was Fulham. And it was the win against Tottenham that sparked their recent run. How they would love to take another North London scalp tonight. They lead by a goal to 0. And Arsenal defending once more. Couldn't clear their lines with any real purpose and get it over the halfway line. It goes out for a throw midway inside Arsenal territory, and Klein will chuck it in. Oliver Glasner just trying to orchestrate proceedings from the edge of the technical area. Thrown in by Klein, won by Hughes, and then misjudges it, and it hits his standing foot and runs out of play and away for a corner.
Too close. Nathaniel Klein there, he's looking for people to throw it to. In the end, they're all about 4 yards away from him, a bit like a Sunday morning one. Send people away, get them away, move them away, and then let them come back to you, then throw it straight to their feet, not on their chest.
Tierney's tried to launch one down the touchline. It was Chalobah who headed it away. There was a bit of pushing going on, and Oliver Glasner, who's wearing very skinny jeans, isn't he? Goes back and sits in his technical area cutting a rather frustrated figure. Don't think I could get those on.
Oh no, I most certainly couldn't, let me tell you. Not this time of the year as well.
Yeah. I'm better off with that Christmas jumper we saw earlier. Here is Tierney, played out to the left. He's got some space. A low ball fizzed in towards the 6-yard box. Sterling is arriving! Oh. He hits it. It's saved brilliantly by Henderson, and then it comes back to him and he sends it wide of the goal. Well, what an opportunity.
Did it hit the bar, Sam? It might have done.
Here is Trossard with a effort from the edge of the box, shoveled away by the goalkeeper. Comes back out to Ødegaard, and then it's picked off by Lerma, and then it's cleared away towards the far side, and Eze will take it towards the touchline to try and clear. What a chance for Arsenal. Here's Sterling, who's had their best chances in the game. Feeds the ball into Marino. Marino from distance tries a strike, and it's just narrowly wide of the left hand upright. Henderson went down. He probably had it covered, but a little bit more intent from Arsenal.
That's better, much better. Couple of clever passes initially, released Kieran Tierney. His left-footed cross found Raheem Sterling totally unmarked, and then actually he should score. Henderson makes a great stop. It's a bit of a tame effort, I feel, the initial one from Sterling. It comes back to him.
Oh my word.
And he scoops it up onto the crossbar. Incredible.
He's hit the crossbar. I mean, that's
goal is lying on the floor.
Where we were, it looked like it had gone across the face of goal, because he was so close to it. He couldn't possibly hit the bar from there. He did. He elevated it onto the bar from about 3 yards out and wide of the goal, and then it came back down into the penalty area. What a strange one.
But again, he never walked on to that initial shot with any real confidence.
Ball in towards the penalty area now. They're dancing through with Timber. Tackle comes in from, I think it was Lacroix, and then it was pinched away and cleared up towards the halfway line.
Now we're seeing Arsenal applying some, what we would call some proper Arsenal pressure. Last couple of minutes, Palace have looked, for the first time in the game, a little vulnerable and a little desperate with their defending.
It all started with Tierney getting space down the left-hand side and fizzing in what was a beautiful ball right through the 18-yard box. And now Timber steps out of defence, plays the ball to the edge of the box, gets tackled. It bounces back to Ødegaard, the Norwegian. Then Sterling takes on Mitchell, gets the cross into the box. It drops inside the area. Trossard couldn't control it, spooned away, and then Klein hits it out on the near side. And all of a sudden, Crystal Palace, for the first time in the game, feel under pressure. Half-time at Newcastle. Here's Mark Wilson.
Yeah, Newcastle 2, Brentford 0. A double for Sandro Tonali. The first, a wonderful strike from the edge of the D, found the bottom corner. Then just before the break, he volleyed in a corner from 12 yards out. Newcastle 2, Brentford 0.
Goal at Meadow Park. Here's Talksport Ian Abrahams.
Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. Former Chelsea defender Magdalena Eriksson thumping home from close range after a corner wasn't properly cleared. Another set piece. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1.
Arsenal 0, Crystal Palace 1, Newcastle 2, Brentford 0. Here's Jesus into the area, skips past the defender, then tries to turn it round the corner, and the goalkeeper is beaten. Lacroix can't get back, and it's squeezed into the net, and Arsenal just about force it home. Gabriel Jesus scores his second goal of the season, his second goal in this competition, and Arsenal are level 8 minutes into the second half.
And deservedly so, because the last 6-7 minutes they've been asking proper questions at last. No surprise that Odegaard it is who rolls a 20-yarder into Gabby Jesus on the half turn on the edge of the box, takes it beautifully in his stride. Chalobah goes to ground, can't really stretch for the ball, otherwise he concedes the penalty, and Gabriel Jesus, with just the goalie to beat, just coolly lifts it over Dean Henderson as he spreads himself. Great goal for Arsenal.
He just lifted it over the top of the advancing Henderson, and it bounced agonisingly on the line. Lacroix was trying to get back, sliding in underneath it, but he couldn't stop it from creeping over the line. And the Arsenal fans now found their voice. They're on their feet, they're pointing, they're asking the question of the Palace fans, who are you? Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 1.
Yeah, really good start to the second half from the Gunners. Much better, much more like them. No surprises, I say that. The architect of the goal, very much Martin Odegaard. 20-yard pass right into his striker's feet on the edge of the box. That's where they want to receive it.
Halfway line, Arsenal have the ball. It's at the feet of Saliba, then gets back to Kivior, and then all the way back to David Raya. This is the third League Cup meeting between the two. Arsenal 1-1, Palace 1-1. We haven't had a draw yet. Arsenal won the last tie 5-1 on aggregate in the semi-final of the League Cup as it was then. I think it might have been the Rumbelows Cup 1993. Ian Wright scored 2, Alan Smith scored 2, Andy Linnigan got 1. The Gunners won the trophy that year. That was the last time they won the League Cup, 1993. Ball up to Mateta, cut out by Saliba. He had a tougher time with Saliba than he did with Kivior in the first half, that's for sure.
Activity on the Crystal Palace bench. I think we just saw there Mateta just lose control of the ball. Arsenal have it back, they're coming again. Immediately Glasner turned around and signalled he wants to change. He's seen enough, his team are getting done all over the park.
Daichi Kamada and Nketiah, I'm reliably informed it was not the Rumbelows Cup, it was the first season of the Coca-Cola Cup, as it was called then.
Is that right? Yes.
When you won it with Villa, what was it then?
It might have been a Coca-Cola.
Here come Arsenal with Jorginho down the left-hand side. The ball picked up by Jesus. He cuts back in, feeds it in towards Marino. It's cut away by Lacroix and then up towards the halfway line. Kamada and Nketiah, I think, are coming on here for Crystal Palace.
And Palace can't get out now.
They're locked in, aren't they?
Yeah, whenever they clear, it's just going forward 20-30 yards, coming straight back. So for them, they've just got to try and weather this Arsenal pressure and this Arsenal intensity for the first time.
Arsenal haven't won the cup before the pre-Arsene Wenger days. Here is Timber down the right-hand side, combining over on the far side with a bit of speed and tempo about Arsenal now. Into the box it goes to Sterling from Odegaard. Couldn't get it under control. Flicked away by Gay, and now a chance to get it out on the other side by Eberechi Eze. And he turns and tries to just keep Palace in possession and calm things down, because it's been a bit helter-skelter for them in the last 10 minutes or so. They've conceded, it's 1-1, and we're live on Talksport with the rain tumbling down. It's a bit stormy here. And Arsenal had chances, hit the bar just beforehand, made Dean Henderson pull off a really good save, but they are level. But the ball's in the Arsenal box now. It's squared towards Nathaniel Klein. Chalobah bites into a tackle with Jesus as they look to clear. Referee says play on, and they build the play down the left. Collected over on that far side by Tyreek Mitchell. Jesus still down, flicked in by Lerma. Klein keeps it alive. Trossard comes towards him. They're in the Arsenal box here, Crystal Palace. Klein sets it back to Hughes. He didn't want to cross it for some reason. It goes to Lacroix. He'll shoot from distance. It's well over the top of the crossbar. They totally ignored Gabriel Jesus for the entirety of that move.
I think because he got a knee in the side of his leg, almost in the buttock a little bit there, and he's laying on the floor holding that area. But I think Andy Madley's right. There's no reason to stop the game. Eventually the shot from Lacroix is always rising over the top. Time for 2 changes for Palace.
Mateta is replaced by Eddie Nketiah, who gets a good reception from the Arsenal fans. They got 30 million for him at the beginning of the season. Eddie is the chant from the Arsenal fans. He comes on. Hasn't scored a Premier League goal for his new club yet. Actually, his only goal for Palace coming in this competition against Queen's Park Rangers. He would love a goal tonight. Since his hat-trick against Sheffield United last October, Eddie Nketiah has played 1,295 minutes, equivalent to 14 and a half games of football, and has scored just twice.
And actually be delighted, Eddie Nketiah, tonight, that he's going to go up the middle a little bit. Sarri's up there. Looks like in a 2-pronged attack now. Him and Ismail Assar kind of split in a little bit. But often when I've seen Nketiah at Palace, he's played on the right side. Sam have 4 in midfield. Not always been easy for him.
I think they've gone to a 4-4-2 here, with Kamada going out to the left-hand side of the midfield and Klein coming to the right, Lerma and Hughes in the middle, and then Sarr and Nketiah together. That's what it looks like. We'll see how it develops. 60 minutes gone. It means that Mitchell will go left back and Chalobah right back, if that is to stay the same. Gay plays it out towards the near side. They go straight out of play, and it's an Arsenal throw. And the Arsenal fans have got their blood up now, haven't they?
They certainly have. Yeah, the team have started really well. Start the second half. I said at half-time we felt a bit flat and a bit tame and a bit listless. Well, it's been the complete opposite since we got going again.
Jesus is back on his feet and he's back on the pitch. Marino plays it to the edge of the area. Turned around the corner by Trossard. Marino tries to get it back into the path of Saliba. And Nketiah races onto it, but then only conspires to give it away back to Jurrien Timber. It's half-time at St Mary's, and it's Southampton 0, Liverpool 2. The goals coming in the first half for Liverpool. They'll be delighted to see Darwin Nunez on the score sheet and Harvey Elliott scoring the second against Southampton. That game continues over on Talksport 2. If you want to listen to it, download our app. You can flick between the 2 stations, or just on your DAB digital radio, your smart speaker, ask it to play Talksport 2. This is Kibior on halfway. Arsenal now so much on top, Andy. They need to force it home and get on top on the scoreboard.
Yes, they do. Vitally important in this spell now for Crystal Palace that their back 4, changed from a 5 now to a 4, doesn't keep dropping away too deep all the time.
Chalobah to Lacroix. It's half cleared. But comes back via Ødegaard, who weaves his way to the edge of the box and bumps it through, looking for the run of Jesus. It didn't reach him. It was cleared away before it could reach Trossard from Chalobah out on the far side, and it's still with Arsenal. They've given it away here, and Nketiah has sprinted down the left-hand side because Lerma's on the ball and charging forward. Sarr had made a really good run, but he didn't feed him the ball. He went wide to the right instead. Now the cross comes in. It's too big from Klein. Kamada trying to pick it up on the far side. He brings it down, looks up, looks to flick it in, but instead goes to Lerma, who strikes from distance. And it was a hit, but it was never really going to trouble Raya. The ball that was down this right-hand side, Andy, into Sarr, who'd made such a good run.
Again, they turned the ball over there, Palace. Arsenal just a little careless, probably for the only time in this second half. And on the halfway line, Palace break forward. Lerma's got Sarr at full stretch, really running hard. He just wants the ball put in front of him. Instead of that, Lerma delays, chance gone.
Half-time at Meadow Park. Talksport, Ian Abrahams.
Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1. Victor Dossor's own goal on 7 minutes for Arsenal ahead, but Eriksen equalised 5 minutes before half-time for the Germans. Arsenal 1, Bayern Munich 1.
Kamada, formerly of Eintracht Frankfurt, he was a Europa League winner at Frankfurt. It's a big Frankfurt hero, but also The Arsenal fan in the office is telling me that he's a big Arsenal hero because he was the man that downed Unai Emery. They're a bit squiffy about Unai Emery here, aren't they? You know?
They are.
He's still a bit hungover from the Talksport Christmas party, so he's a bit grumpy, I think. Here is Trossard on the near side, the left. He threads it into the penalty area. Lovely turn and spin by Jesus. Pokes it towards the near post. Took a deflection, hit the side netting. It's a lovely turn by Gabriel Jesus. It would have been a beautiful goal if he'd converted it.
Really good. Really good work. Lovely ball from Trossard into Gabriel Jesus. 10-yard pass again. He actually nutmegs Will Hughes. It goes into Gabriel Jesus about 7 yards out, corner of the 6-yard box area. Just takes his first touch, goes round his defender, toe pokes it, and Henderson just gets a hand on it.
Corner kick then to Arsenal on this near side. Jesus, Marino, Kivior, Saliba all in there. Looks like is that Timber there as well at the back edge of the 6-yard box, just moving for space. That looks like the 5 that have peeled away at the back post. Again, they've left 3 up, Crystal Palace, as this corner comes in right-footed in towards the near post area, and it's flicked away by Chalobah. Good defending by him. It comes back out to Ødegaard. Ødegaard's going to send it into the penalty area. No, he's not. He's going to send it left instead to Trossard, who tries to take on Sarr, beats him. His cross into the near post is grabbed easily by Henderson, who jettisons his big arms up into the sky and pulls the ball into his chest. And it remains 1-1 on Talksport.
Yeah, it's been a tough experience for Palace since they've come out for the second half. They'll have seen Ødegaard. They'll have expected a reaction. As I said to you, Sam, they've certainly got one. Arsenal have really swamped and swarmed all over Palace in the start of this second period. Now they've got to resist that. Can they find something themselves?
Well, his changes didn't work at the weekend, and he was questioned about that, and he was a bit sort of sniffy about being asked why he took off Ødegaard. But tonight, his changes have worked.
Yes.
They've changed the game completely.
It has, totally.
25 to go.
They weren't particularly poor, I didn't think, Sam, at the start in the first half. Arsenal weren't poor, but it was just all a little bit tame and a little bit easy for Palace to cope with. Now, all of a sudden, defenders are checking both shoulders, not sure where the red and white shirts are.
Here is Trossard, turning, running, firing towards the edge of the penalty area, tries to slip it into Marino, and made a run from midfield. That's the other thing as well. They've got players breaking from midfield into the box. Jesus now, edge of the area, little turn, flicked by Marino. No one's behind him. Lerma manages to get it clear, but he can't clear his lines because they're just a bit out of sorts at the moment, Palace. They can't get hold of the ball because Arsenal moving it at such a great tempo and with more intensity in this second half. It remains 1-1. We've played 20 minutes in the second 45. They've had better chances than they created. They created very little in that first half, Arsenal, clear-cut nature. But they've created quite a few in this second half. They've hit the crossbar. Henderson's made a save. They've scored the equaliser. They've hit the side netting. It's been a different dimension to the attack and more dynamism about them as they send it up towards the the edge of the 18-yard box. It looks for Sterling but doesn't quite get there. Lerma almost kicked Ødegaard in the head, and eventually he then tries to clear it to halfway. Nketiah fights for it, loses. Trossard goes in after the loose ball and it breaks towards the halfway line. Sometimes it is just a little bit more intensity that gets you into the game.
Just a little bit more up and at them, just a little bit more turning teams round, getting people running beyond. That's all you have to do. It doesn't have to be pretty, special, perfect. Far from it. Sometimes just put it in behind your opponents and get after it.
The other thing I've noticed, that they've given away a free kick now. Sterling, who did get the ball wrapped into him by Trossard, he couldn't quite control it properly and then turn and get himself on the front foot. But the one thing I noticed about them is that they're almost playing one-touch football at times, and that moves it quicker as well. As we look at Jesus Perez and Mauricio Pochettino, the USA international manager. And I did see Carl Jenkinson and his fiancée.
Yeah, I did see he was in front, wasn't he?
In front of him as well, yes. I did. Plays for Bromley now. Carl Jenkinson, yeah.
He's with Woody.
He is.
At Bromley.
Yeah. And
Woody,
his missus, actually.
If Woody dares turn around and says them players can't have a Christmas party.
His missus actually works on Soccer Age. She runs it. Well, which is a big part of running it. I mean, there's loads of people that run it, to be fair. There's a lot of people behind it, but she does a great job of pulling it all together. Here is Timber over on the far side, sliding the ball upfield in towards Sterling. And then it's picked up by Sarr because they've turned the ball over. And Marino just gets in, digs in, wins the ball back, turns it over. And Arsenal are on the attack again. You wouldn't cancel a Christmas party, would you?
No. And that's what I mean. If Andy Woodman cancels their Christmas party this year, it'll be straight on the blower to him.
Are you going to get an invite to that?
No.
That used to be sort of your area of the wood, didn't it, back in the day?
Yeah, back in the day, not far from there.
Here is a pause in play for treatment to Kieran Tierney.
Well, he looks like his race might be run, Sam, here.
The last thing he wants is to have an injury after just getting the first opportunity to play for Arsenal again in nearly 18 months.
Oh.
He doesn't want an injury. He's back on his feet again now, and he said that he's trying to tell everyone he can continue. Let's see what happens with Mikel Arteta, although it does look like we're going to see Lewis Skelly, actually, who's just come out to the edge of the technical area as we wait here. Our commentary position, by the way, today is a little bit further along the line than it usually is. We're camped over the corner flag at one end of the ground with the Crystal Palace fans away to our right, and that means that, and they do like to do this here at Arsenal, and everyone stands up. It's very difficult to just crane our neck and see what's going on in the technical area away to our left, but I think we've learnt that we're going to see Bukayo Saka as well. I think he's emerging there. So on comes Lewis Skelly, and he comes on for Kieran Tierney. And also coming off is Raheem Sterling, and he again hasn't really done too much in an Arsenal jersey tonight. He's missed a big chance, and he's replaced by the star boy Saka.
Yeah, perfect timing, I think, as well, for that sort of change. 20 minutes left plus whatever Andy Medley wants to add on at the end. That's a lot of time if Arsenal can get that Odegaard Saka axis going.
I remember it wasn't that long ago when Saka was the understudy to Sterling for England, and now Sterling is very much the second understudy for Bukayo Saka at Arsenal. And let's go off to the darts, get an update from Talksport's Ian Danta.
We have a 9-dart finish, Sam, from Christian Kist of Holland against Madas Razma of Latvia. A 1-4-1 checkout sealed the 9-darter. That's £180,000 going to prostate cancer research and to a random member of the audience in the Ali Pali crowd tonight. Earlier tonight, Paolo Nebrida won 3-2 against Jim Williams, Sam.
Thank you very much, Ian Danta. The darts on the radio tonight after the Southampton-Liverpool game. They'll continue commentary of the PDC World Darts Championships from Ali Pali, and all of the best matches throughout the course of the Christmas period live on Talksport and Talksport 2. Ball into Gabriel Jesus. Lovely angled pass from the right-hand side, which was sent down into the 18-yard box at a 45-degree angle. He was running across the goalkeeper, but Henderson was out quickest to it.
Odegaard again.
Yeah, brilliant.
Lovely pass, Sam. He's just half a yard offside anyway, had he have got onto that, Gabriel Jesus. But that's what the Arsenal skipper does. That's the sort of pass he looks for, when he receives in the pocket, gets on the half turn, and then fizzes one along the floor perfectly into the path of Jesus, who's just offside.
Here is Odegaard picking the ball up, running forward to the edge of the box, sliding it to Marino's effort, never really caught it, sent Henderson plunging to his left, but never with any real urgency, and it was easily saved. 1-1. Crystal Palace have never won this competition. They're usually well out by now. They haven't played a quarter-final since 2011. They were knocked out in the third round or before in each of the last 5 seasons. But with 19 minutes to go, Andy, the other thing is that this competition changing in format means that even if you are a smaller team or one of the teams that aren't the top 5 or 6 in the Premier League, you can still hang in there and get to penalties and get yourself into a semi-final.
You can indeed.
And that's what the Palace have got to do.
Well, that'll be the plan, definitely, as we see Eddie Nketiah this time just get his arms up and just unfortunately just catches Kivior from that long Dean Henderson drop kick. And Arsenal have the ball once more. They've totally dominated everything, all the stats second half, Arsenal.
Yeah, and they have actually tried their hardest to get a little bit of pressure off the Palace defence. When Henderson has had it, he has been smashing it up into opposition territory to try and get them as far away from their goal as possible. It keeps coming back, though. In this second half, I mean, they've had 83% possession, Arsenal, 7 goal attempts, 5 on target, 2 shots off target. I mean, in the first half, they had 3, 2 and 1 in the whole 45 minutes. We've still got 20 minutes of this game left. Shows you the intensity has been up. Here's Jesus, fed by Saka into the penalty area. Right side of the 6-yard box. He's rifled it across the goalkeeper and he's smashed it in. And Arsenal have come from behind to lead against Crystal Palace. Gabriel Jesus at the double, runs away in celebration, makes a heart shape with his fingers. He's loving it tonight. Arsenal lead by 2-1. He scored twice, both goals in the second half. Arsenal turned it around.
Oh, it's a great goal. It's a brilliant finish again. It's down the right side. It's Odegaard and Saka. Eventually, he might be offside.
Doesn't matter, there's no VAR.
Is there not? Wow. Oh, I tell you what, I think he might have been. But it's a brilliant finish. The actual strike is a top-class finish, it is. And he makes one of those runs where a ball is threaded between two centre-halves. He just makes that run in behind them. And he finishes it, slots it brilliant, has a good look at Henderson, weighs it all up, hits it hard and true and low enough and steers it into the far corner.
Well, you might be right there. It would be one of those, if this was a Saturday afternoon in the Premier League, we'd be sitting here now waiting for the lines to be drawn and wondering what happened next. Tonight we know it's a goal, an Arsenal lead by 2-1 with 17 to play on Talksport, and Crystal Palace, who were hanging on, I think, for penalties just a few minutes ago. They were in front with 9 minutes of the second half gone and now behind, and Arsenal have turned the game on its head.
Yeah, they played really well in the second half. Much more like it. And it's just been about desire. It's been about the need to turn a game round and play with more tempo, more belief. They've done all of that. Are we going to see a Palace response now?
Well, they've won a free kick far side, and it's given in favour of Mark Gay, who was dragged to the floor. Jesus has scored twice tonight. He'll be delighted about that. Second and third goals of the season. Not scored a Premier League goal since January the 30th. Did score against Preston and has scored here tonight. And they need a player who can put the ball in the net from open play, don't they? And they've done that this evening. Here is Hughes into the penalty area. Lerma taking it out towards this near touchline after the free kick was initially well dealt with. It's taken down though, and Sarr has managed to get away from his marker, slipped into the 6-yard box. How has that not gone in? It seemed to pop off an Arsenal defender and spiral behind. It was all about the good work that Ismaila Sarr did down the right side of the box. He took it in, went round the outside of the defender. Marino had tracked him, got to the byline, pulled it through the 6-yard box, and Arsenal spooned it away.
Yeah, it was Saliba actually who knocked it against Marino. It goes out for a corner, but shot from, or the cross from Lerma, really well taken by Sarr in the box. His cutback, very nearly finding a yellow shirt.
Corner. Hughes to take it. Surely Arsenal not going to get undone by a set piece now. Ball delivered into the near post, flicked away by Jesus. Good header by him. And then, well, the attempted block by Klein didn't do anything for them. And Saka has robbed it, and he's racing away at rapid pace. And then Kamada's got back at him and taken him down over on the far touchline and won the ball.
Well, it's an Arsenal throw, and I think that's a fair challenge, actually. He might have just caught Bukayo Saka a little bit. It looked like for a split second there was a chance for Arsenal to really fly forward and maybe put this game to bed with a third. As it was, Kamada makes a good challenge.
Fascinating, isn't it, that Gabriel Jesus scores twice tonight?
Yeah.
You know, all summer, all the end of last season, they were linked with Tony, Osterman, Isaac, Gyökeres. So much was made of that, but nothing happened. I mean, I know it sounds cliched now, but do you think that Arsenal, to win silverware, to chase down Liverpool, they need to do the obvious?
Well, I don't think to win an FA Cup, I don't even think to win a Champions League they have to have that. I think the Premier League is different. I think they can't afford to have too many of them games like that against Everton at the weekend. I think over the 38 games you could do with something a bit more up there. I do, Sam, yeah. But look, I think in terms of tonight and this competition, FA Cup, Champions League, you can win of course they can win a cup competition like that without that 30 goal a season, man.
Well, he did have a great first season, didn't he, Gabriel Jesus? But he never really built on that. Picked up an injury and then it just never really got going again for him. I remember being here on the first day of the season that he signed. I think he was playing Leicester on a Saturday afternoon, and he did he was brilliant that day. He scored a terrific goal. He looped it over someone's head, popped it in the corner. He was fantastic.
Well, coming from City, he was everything that Arsenal needed at that time. And he's kind of gone down the pecking order. Tell you what, he's looked sharp about all of his work tonight. He's played on the last shoulder of the defenders. He's been found 3 or 4 times in the second half, been very close. And that's a brilliant second goal. We're just seeing another replay of it. I tell you, it would have been offside. In a couple of days' time, if it's the same run, the flag goes up.
Well, it's his 21st game of the season tonight. That's his 3rd goal. Arsenal come forward down the left-hand side. Henderson, as he come out of his penalty area there. Oh dear, he's grabbed it in front of Trossard. I thought he wandered outside his box. Andy Madley said he didn't.
Yeah.
And there's no VAR.
Well, look, let's have another look. Well, maybe he did. Maybe he's hovering the ball over just on top of the line. But
actually, it's good
close.
goalkeeping, isn't it?
Yeah, it's close.
He was aware of his coordinates there.
Correct, he was.
Just about. He was outside the penalty area, but the hands were inside the penalty area, and the ball was hovering over the line. And he did just enough.
And that was a long ball, a 30-yarder, just stuck over the back of Chalobah. And of course, Palace have got to take risks now.
12 minutes to go. Fired forward by Raya into the night sky. The rain has relented for a moment. It's picked off by Gay, who steps out down that left channel, but he's been trapped by Saka. Saka's fighting with him for it. The ball spills out to the far side. He can't come away from it, and Saka just doesn't make life easy for him. The ball goes out of play, far touchline, and it's with Crystal Palace again. Mitchell back to Gay. Gay forward, cut out by Hughes before Arsenal can turn it over. And now Nketiah trying to speed down the left touchline, but he just can't really get into the game, Eddie Nketiah.
Have they had anything second half, Sam? Palace?
Nothing.
To worry David Raya? Not really.
No. The only opportunity they had was when Sarr got down the right-hand side, taking it in from the cross, and went round the outside and pulled it back. They're going to make a change here, and Will Hughes is going to come off, and I think that they're going to bring on Justin Devaney, the Northern Irishman who started the game against Villa and scored in that game. He's been used regularly as a substitute ever since then. He's 21 years of age. They picked him up from Adrionians over a year ago. And he comes into the fray for the final 10 minutes. Well, Arsenal will hope it's the final 10 minutes. If Palace were to score, we would go to penalties. Their throw-in has led to them being dispossessed, and Arsenal have got it with Erdegaard, who's very quickly released Jesus, who's racing down the right-hand side. He was onside. He's burst into the box. This for the hat-trick. He smashes it home and sends Arsenal into the Carabao Cup semi-final. Gabriel Jesus with a hat-trick against Crystal Palace in the second half to turn the game on its head and win the cup tie for Arsenal.
Oh, what a brilliant finish from Gabriel Jesus. Stunning goal. I've mentioned that Palace are going to have to push, and well, they've tried to squeeze, and Odegaard again picks the ball up. He's got options left and right, and he picks exactly the right ball to the man on the night who's made all the difference, and it's the number 9, Gabby Jesus, who's such an unselfish player, always has been, even when he's out the team, just gets on with his job. Tonight he's come in to great effect, got them back in it at 1-1, got them that second goal to go in front, and has just added a brilliant third for a really impressive hat-trick, and a really good win this for Arsenal. From 1 down with a very changed team, they've dusted themselves down and got themselves 3 goals, and are deservedly going to go into the semis.
First hat-trick for Arsenal for Gabriel Jesus, and a first hat-trick for Gabriel Jesus since the 23rd of April, St George's Day 2022, when he scored 4 for Manchester City against Watford. What a brilliant moment for him, because he has been criticised, he has been under the cosh a little bit.
Well, he came here from a team where he was a serial winner. Didn't always play up front, did he, for City often, and had to go out wide off the left, off the right, but always just gets on with the job. It's the nature of what he is. He's one of those types that just give him a shirt and he'll run himself hard and run himself right to the last whistle. But tonight he's got 3 really good goals. His all-round game has been excellent. He's been a nuisance. He's been sensible. He's been intelligent with his work. His finishing's been exemplary.
Great finish from the edge of the box, and it was the timing of the run as well. I don't know what you thought about that, but it's just inside his own half.
Yes, ran into space and knew exactly, with Odegaard on the ball, he knew that he could find him. And once he got through, he had a lot to think about. He ran 40, 45 odd yards all the way through until he was confronted with Dean Henderson, and this time again just dispatches it really neatly into the far corner.
8 minutes to go before the conclusion of the game, and Arsenal, who were 1-0 down at half-time, are now 3-1 up and cruising. And elsewhere tonight, also cruising, or certainly it was that way at half-time for both Newcastle and Liverpool. Newcastle leading Brentford by 2-0. Sandro Tonali getting the first goal for Newcastle United, the second one coming from Sandro Tonali. So it's all the players that haven't scored that many goals recently that are on the score sheet tonight, using the Carabao Cup as a way to heal their bruised egos. Darwin Núñez has scored for Liverpool tonight, and Harvey Elliott as well.
Yeah, that's perfect. Granny Slot, that is absolutely spot on for him, as well as Eddie Howe. Good that Tonali gets a couple.
So it looks like we're going to have a heavyweight lineup in the Carabao Cup semi-finals, no matter what happens, because we're going to have Liverpool, Newcastle, Arsenal and Tottenham or Manchester United join them tomorrow night live on Talksport, and we'll have coverage from 7 o'clock tomorrow. The game kicks off at 8 o'clock. Adrian Durham will be there alongside myself and Leanne Sanderson for commentary tomorrow night. Looking forward to that. Big game for both those two.
Big game, massive game. Hey, listen to the Arsenal fans.
Yeah.
That's what it means to them. Obviously, as they're cheering, they're giving the Palace fans plenty, as a few of them are starting to head for the hills. But I always hear about this competition, Sam, and about people saying, oh, it's the one that you might have to knock on the head, etc.
There's a header into the far corner, and what a good header it is as well. Eddie Nketiah,
what a great goal,
has just leapt up inside the 18-yard box as a cross came in from the right-hand side, and he's planted his header into the corner past David Raya, and Crystal Palace are back in it with 5 minutes to go.
It's a brilliant goal from Eddie Nketiah, it really is. It comes out here to Nathaniel Klein on the right side, he clips it, and I tell you, Eddie Nketiah is between Saliba and Kivior there, and he leaps majestically, hangs in the air and thumps that one past David Raya with his head. Brilliant goal.
And he's got no right to score from there.
He's got no right to score from there, he hasn't. It's a terrific header from him.
Well, Arsenal thought it was done and dusted, and it's another one who desperately needs to get on the score sheet for their own form and confidence that's actually done that in this Carabao Cup. And this, again, we were talking about that just moments ago, and he's just proved the point, isn't it? You know, I mentioned about the minutes, over 1,250 minutes since he was a regular goal scorer, since his hat-trick against Sheffield United. That's 3 goals in that time now, but he's on the score sheet tonight, and it might make it a nervy finish.
It will do indeed. So much so that Mikel Arteta is about to deploy Gabriel, because he wants to protect the 1-goal lead that they have.
Yeah, well, first of all, they're going to take off Tyreek Mitchell, replace him with Jeff Schlupp, which tells you about the intention of Oliver Glasner. He wants to go for it to try and get them to penalty kicks, because, again, they only need a goal to go to penalty kicks, and that's what the change of format does. Arsenal thought they were cruising moments ago, but a speculative ball in the box and an absolute salmon leap from Eddie Nketiah has changed the tone again, and Gabriel now is coming to the defence, and he's come in for the last few minutes just to bulk that up, and Jakub Kivior has gone off. Here is Klein on the near touchline. 3.5 minutes to go on Talksport. Klein wrestling on this near side with Mikel Merino, who goes down like a sack of spuds.
Yeah, he's just trying to buy a bit of time. Merino there, he's absolutely fine. There's nothing much in that, but brilliant goal from Eddie Nketiah, just to give us something to consider now. Where are we? 3 minutes from the 90-minute mark. Depends how much extra the referee will want to add on. Do we know yet?
Not yet. We've got 3 minutes to go before we get told that. Just a bit of breaking news. Vitor Pereira has verbally agreed earlier to sign a 1.5-year contract to become the new Wolves manager. We understand that's now signed, and they're going to pay £1 million in compensation to release him from his contract with Saudi Arabia side Al Shabab. So he'll be in the dugout at the weekend for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he's replaced Gary O'Neill.
Yeah, he's got a job on his hands there to try and turn that one around. He's had success. He's tasted success at a couple of clubs before. He's going to need to bring all his experience and again, that voice has got to resonate with the players very, very quickly.
We will bring you updates from that game. Leicester Wolves Sunday afternoon on the Sunday session. I'll be at Manchester United versus Bournemouth. Leicester Wolves 2 o'clock kickoff. Man United Bournemouth 2 o'clock kickoff will be around all the grounds on the Sunday session. And Wolves' first home fixture under Pereira will be against Manchester United on Boxing Day. That's live and only on Talksport. Here is Jesus trying to win it down the left-hand side. The hat-trick hero, the man who's scored all the Arsenal goals today. Back it goes to Marino. Chalobah with a challenge. Free kick goes against him, and it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal.
What he's done there, Sam, Chalobah's been nudged in the back. He's gone to ground and he's grabbed it as he's gone over.
Handball.
And the referee hasn't given the free kick yet. I mean, Marino actually, in all fairness to Trevor Chalobah, does have his hands in his back a bit. He goes over, but he grabs the ball, and as he's falling, he's half looking for the ref to blow the whistle. I'm afraid it never happened. So Arsenal have a free kick, a chance to keep the ball up right by the corner flag.
This will be a bit of a setback for Oliver Glasner. The second half in particular not been bright, and it will be a lesson for them coming here, coming to Selhurst Park on Saturday when they play Arsenal again at the weekend. And a little sight of them. Maybe Gabriel Jesus will fancy his chances against them again. Here he is down by the corner flag, looking to hold on to the ball and waste a few precious seconds. There's 60 seconds plus whatever is added on at the end of the game still to play here on Talksport. They're giving the ball away cheaply here. Gabriel not tight enough to Kamada, and then the boys slid down the right, and Nketiah is away. He's inside the box here. He couldn't get his shot in first time, but he squared it back into the 6-yard box. He's met by Gabriel, and he manages to steer it to safety. And Miles Lewis-Skelly on this near side manages to just hold on to it, wait, try to win a free kick, goes out for a throw-in though. Quickly we're going to go off to a goal at St Mary's. Adrian Durham.
Saints are back in it. Liverpool lead 2-1. Cameron Archer arrowing the ball into the back of the net. Crucial they got that goal, and they have. Saints 1, Liverpool 2.
Bit of an argy-bargy on this near side, but Lerman's going to take a throw-in down by the corner flag. Remember, we're in the 90th minute of the game now. We haven't got an indication of how many minutes are going to be added on just yet. The fourth official just emerging with the board. But Lerma is about to take a throw, and it's going to be a long one from the corner flag. Crystal Palace 3-2 behind. They need an equaliser, and they're going to have 5 additional minutes to do it. It's launched in by Lerma into the near post, away by Gabriel. Back down the right it goes. Oh, he's offside, Lerma.
Yeah, he's ball watching. He's thrown the ball in, and he's standing there. He gets half cleared. Nathaniel Klein tries to give it to him. He's offside.
Miles Lewis-Skelly has been given a yellow card. That was for his histrionics on the near side. We're going to go off to another goal at Newcastle United. Mark Wilson.
Yeah, surely all over here, Sam. Fabian Schär has scored from close range after Hall's shot was deflected to Guimaraes. He pulled it back very unselfishly. Schär tapped in from close range. Newcastle 3, Brentford 0.
5 added minutes here in the Carabao Cup quarter-final. Arsenal thought they were cruising through once the third goal went in from Gabriel Jesus, racing clear from halfway to pop it in for his hat-trick. But it turned again for Crystal Palace when Nketiah got one back. It's 3-2 with just 4 added minutes still to play. Sarr forward looking for Nketiah. Kamada trying to chase into the box. Out comes David Raya, and he lands on the ball, and there's nothing doing there for Crystal Palace. Couple of goals at Boreham Wood. Ian Abrahams.
Arsenal 2, Bayern Munich 2. Magda Eriksson put the away side ahead, but Alessia Russo's just equalised for Arsenal. Arsenal 2, Bayern 2.
Newcastle 3, Brentford 0. Southampton 1, Liverpool 2. Is it going to be a late twist in a tail over on Talksport 2? Arsenal 3, Crystal Palace 2 is the latest score line here. Remember, darts commentary later tonight when that Southampton-Liverpool game finishes on Talksport 2. This game's a little bit more of a nervy ending than it should have.
Yes, it looked like it was going to. Arsenal were cruising to the finish line, and then out of nothing, great cross into the box and a committed leap and wonderful finish from Eddie Nketiah has just given Arsenal something to think about.
Ball cleared by Chalobah. Out towards the edge of the penalty area. Oh, Ødegaard won that. It was a bad clearance by Chalobah, and Well, it's gone all the way to Henderson, who wants to get this up the field quickly. He couldn't kick it because he had pressure from Jesus, so he gave it to Chalobah, whose big switch from the right side is launched out towards the far side. Schlupp tries to win the header, but he only lollops it into the air. It goes out for a throw into Arsenal, and they'll waste a few precious more seconds. What has Arsenal learnt tonight? What have Mikel Arteta gauged from this?
That when his team play with the right tempo, the right urgency in their game, that they're very difficult to resist and to deny. They again, second half completely dominant, despite the fact that there's only the one in it and they've had to twitch a little bit the last couple of minutes. They played very well in the second period. He's been able to rest key players, although he's brought a good few of them on here. Such was the need tonight, because first half was all a little bit too easy for Palace. But what he's learned is that, one or two that have come in, particularly Gabriel Jesus, what a night for him. Is it going to kickstart him into the second part of this season? Is he, after all, going to be the man that might just add that little bit more threat up top for Arsenal?
Certainly bringing on the big hit has turned the game at half-time. And you just wonder where they would have been if they hadn't have done that. So credit has to go to Mikel Arteta, but he was the one who made the 8 changes, which I think left them a little bit vulnerable in that first half.
Yeah, Sam, I agree. Listen, whenever you make 8, you are hoping, you are fingers crossed and everything crossed that they're going to get it sorted out for you, because that's a lot, and that disrupts the flow and the rhythm. And he'll have felt that he had to do it from the weekend's game, which was a frustrating one for them. But if they get over the line tonight, it's been another good night's work.
Yep. I mean, they've had their troubles this season, but they rarely lose. They've dropped points at critical moments. They've missed opportunities, but they've only lost 3 of now 25 games in all competitions. Palace want a corner here. They've chased the ball into the corner. Across has gone Saliba. He thought it was a goal kick. The referee has overturned that and says he thinks it's a corner. And he's right, because it came off Saliba last.
This might be the last chance for Palace.
Dean Henderson is coming up from the back, trotting up into the penalty area. 94 minutes on the clock. We're into the final minute of added time. 3-2 Arsenal. Ball towards the far post. Goalkeeper comes out and haymakers the ball to the near side. And it goes out for a throw-in. It's a brilliant punch by David Raya.
Fantastic punch. Under big pressure there, the goalkeeper gets a good fist on it and just bashes that out of the way.
Devaney launches it high into the Arsenal half. It goes over the head of the defender. Kamada can't reach it. It goes out of play. Surely now they've done enough. Arsenal haven't reached the semi-final of the Carabao Cup since they went all the way to the final in 2018 when they lost to Manchester City. It'll be a 9th game unbeaten for the Gunners. And Mikel Arteta will be 180 minutes away from a Wembley Cup final. Ball out of play over on the far side. At half-time, it didn't look like it was going to be a cruise. It did very much in the second half when Gabriel Jesus got a hat-trick. But they were pegged back at the end, and they were nervously twitching right to the very last. 5 years on Friday since Mikel Arteta started his era as the Arsenal boss. He may only have 1 trophy in the cabinet, but Arsenal are just 2 games from a Wembley final. They're into the semi-finals, largely thanks to his changes at half-time, which turned the tide after Jean-Philippe Mateta had given Crystal Palace the lead after 3.5 minutes of the first half after a mistake by Jakob Kivior. They brought on Erdegaard at the break, they brought on Saliba at the break, and that turned the tide. It was all Arsenal second half. Jesus got a hat-trick, Palace are knocked out at the first confrontation with Premier League opposition in the League Cup this season. And despite Eddie Nketiah's late consolation goal, it's Arsenal who progress through to the semi-finals by 3-2.